What used car shortage? Not at Daytona Nissan. We have over 1,200 pre-owned vehicles available. Daytona Nissan has all makes and models, prices from $99.95. We're buying cars too, and we're paying up to $3,000 over Kelley Blue Book value. Shop our inventory right now at DaytonaNissan.com. Click on Easy Purchase and we'll deliver to your door. Save time and money at Daytona Nissan. The bigger the pre-owned selection, the lower the prices. DaytonaNissan.com.
Welcome to Bowling Green and welcome to homecoming. Don't try this at home. These people, they're professionals. Great crowd on hand and a good-looking football game as well. Evenly matched teams coming up next on ESPN. Murray State from the Ohio Valley Conference comes a-calling today against Mid-American's Bowling Green. Good afternoon, Jim Barber and former Penn State star Tyoka Jackson. Murray State hasn't beaten an FBS team since Ronald Reagan was president. Bowling Green hasn't won a football game in 2 years, so what gives today and what kind of anxiety these two teams face?
Well, you got to forget about all that. Let's just make it simple. Must win, just win, baby. This is going to be a very competitive football game for two teams that need to have this today.
I believe Al Davis once said that.
That's
By the
right.
way, speaking of winning, this kid's a winner here. He turned 23 on Thursday. He is Preston Rice, starting quarterback for Murray State.
He's like an elite point guard. Jim Rice can pass the rock, but he also will score. He leads this team with 5 rushing touchdowns. When his decision-making is on point, this offense really moves.
And Tyoka, he's got to avoid this linebacker, 23, who is terrorizing offenses right now.
Look, Darren Anders is not going to wow you with his measurables, but it's his heart, desire, and exceptional diagnostic skills that allow him to be one of the top defensive playmakers in the MAC. I expect these two guys will become well acquainted before this one's over, no doubt about it.
BG defense is not bad, but the offense is very young, especially up front. There's just one senior on the offensive line. Bankswall, Grant, Zimmerly, Van Gorder, and Murphy. Sounds like a law firm. These guys will be around to get their law degrees for many years because they're just puppies, according to their head coach, minus the one senior that we're speaking of. Well, as people make their way from tailgating into the stadium, we got your food requested, Tyoka. The burgers look great. Falcons and the Rams.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Today, things can be pretty unexpected. But your customers, they still expect things to be simple. And they want it all personalized.
Hey, Jamie.
With IBM, you can do both. Businesses like insurers can automate IT processes across clouds so agents can spend more time on customer needs. And whatever comes your way, you've got it covered. Saving time and improving customer service. That's why so many businesses work
Thanks for the orange.
with IBM.
Cutie.
So keys in should be keys for.
Just a couple of days shy of a full moon here in the Midwest as Bowling Green and Murray State get set to kick off. And a pretty special moment moments ago. One of the stars of Bowling Green football, Phil Villapiano, who starred in the NFL, Oakland Raiders legend, won a world championship with the Raiders, graduated back in '71. The former great linebacker on hand still looks pretty slim, doesn't he?
He does, man. I got to find out what he's eating and what his workout regimen is because I was born in '71, and I promise you I don't look that good.
So they're inviting a lot of their legends back today, and we'll get a chance to meet some of them. That's Scott Loeffler, who is the head coach of Bowling Green, who told us last week losing that game to South Alabama felt like he lost the Super Bowl because it was a very winnable game, and they were beaten on a walk-off field goal.
I mean, that's tough, right? At home, too,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that hurts, but guess what? You got to clear it. That's what football is all about, whether it's having a bad play and clearing that or having a bad game. You got to clear that, too.
Dean Hood, well, he's kind of the old school guy who was telling us during the week. You know, I know there's a lot of fancy football out there, he says, but I still believe in the run game. You try to keep up with all the youthful things that are going on, but running wins games, and his team's got a good-looking offensive line to do that.
They do. They want to play bully ball up front with that front seven. They feel like the mass of their guys up front will wear on your defense over 4 quarters.
Mason Lawler will kick off. Ethan Thompson is 16. He is way deep. And that means Preston Rice will lead the offense out to the 25-yard line to start our game.
Our rule of the ball is placed at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10.
Going to be here another 3.5 hours, so sit back and get comfortable. Evenly matched teams, as we mentioned at the beginning, a slight favorite to the Racers, who are in the white uniforms to start the game and will be throughout. Rice has thrown 4 picks, but his 5 rushing touchdowns, the best in FCS. He will operate from the shotgun. And on the run, past the 25-yard line on the very first play. Let's talk about keys to the game and what you think might matter, Tyoka.
The Racers' offense is at its best when they're staying ahead of the sticks, and the best way to do that is have winning first downs. And for Bowling Green, keeping leverage on this ball, I'm just telling you, that's going to be a big key because perimeter run game for Murray State is very dangerous.
DeMonte Witherspoon's the running back. That defense got some pressure last week on South Al, but couldn't make a difference at the end. And a stick in the backfield by Davon Ferguson immediately. This kid is not playing with full capacity. Take a look at one of his arms and what's covered up on the left arm there.
Yeah, he's got a little cast there, but we talked about the perimeter run game. They just tried to get the ball right there on the outside. They're going to have to show up on the perimeter. And Ferguson, I'm just telling you, this guy is a monster. Converted safety, playing corner, so you know he can tackle. Very physical player, number 7.
And likely playing hurt, as you saw the cast on that left arm. Beyond the sticks right now, 3rd and 14, need a big play. Here comes pressure on Rice, and he can run the ball. He will throw on the run, got a receiver, 40-yard line, ball picked off and going to be returned. We have an injured player at the 40, and Bowling Green gets the football on the pick that comes only a minute and 21 seconds into the game. Looks like Brock Horn, 34, got it. But in the meantime, receiver number 88 got clipped as Sean Britton got hurt. And he's down for the moment.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
Look, Preston Rice, you made a mistake. You can't be late over the middle. Watch the movement. He'll do that all day. Break pocket. Now watch him be late and back across his body over the middle. No, no, no. If you do, you better drill it. And his guy gets drilled because he left him out to hang out with that high pass. And Johnny on the spot. That's hustle right there for Brock Horn. You teach this from Pee Wee football. Watch the hit. Ball is out before he hits the ground. So this is an interception. This is not a fumble. I believe this will be an interception. That's Horn hustling to the ball and makes a play. Tip drill.
It appears that the wide receiver for Murray State, Deshaun Britton, who's a redshirt freshman, is okay. Sometimes the worst-looking potential injuries turn out to be just fine.
That's right. And there's adrenaline going right now. I'm hoping that once he gets to the sidelines and that adrenaline starts to slow down, that he really isn't injured and he's able to come back and continue to play.
How about the field position for the Falcons at the 29-yard line of the Racers? Had great field position last week. McDowell a pitch to the sidelines. They emphasize the quick game, so to get the ball out as fast as possible. And that's Tyrone Broden, who was on the scene last week. They made a number of catches.
Excuse me, Jim. All these plays, these quick throws like that just gets McDonald loosened up, gets him warmed up. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the MAC. Actually leads the MAC in average passing yards per game, and so he's a very good quarterback. They're going to lean on his arm all day.
This time attacking up the middle and enough for the first down to the 17. It's a youthful backfield for this team. Terrion Stewart is the principal ball carrier, but he also had Jason Patterson to back him up. Let's talk about some of the keys for BG in this game.
The Falcons have missed on some very good big play opportunities in weeks 1 and 2. They need to hit those today. And for the other side of the ball, Bowling Green hasn't been able to run the football in the first and second weeks. And so if you're Murray State, you got to keep that going. Don't allow them to run and be ambidextrous, as you would say, offensively.
On the pitch to the outside. Likely another first down. Austin Osborne is a receiver that they really like, but they're going to find 19 as well in this offensive field.
Well, that's like a run. That's as good as a run. I mean, right there, that's just a little bit of a smoke screen. Watch him step back, ball thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Look at the perimeter blocking. See, that is as good as a run. Bowling Green has not been able to run the football well, but what they can do is throw safe passes on the outside, which is just as good as a run.
Back to the run. Keith on the catch of 12 yards, sets up the first and goal. Patterson to carry the football there, and they'll mix Stewart and Patterson together. Plenty of youth, not only the O-line, but also in the backfield.
Well, Patterson's their physical guy, and you need to get physical inside the red zone. This is what Bowling Green really wants to do. This is the identity. They're not there yet. Their offensive line is young. You talked about that earlier, but really their identity is what they're trying to forge is a running football team that can play action pass.
Little different formation here. Patterson on the pitch. End zone touchdown.
I like the call, Jim. I like the call by Terry Malone. Went with some tempo, sped it up, got a really tight formation, and ran the flip play and got Patterson outside. Nice job of running. Again, they'll feature him in the red zone because he's a little bit more of a power back. Tight formation, and now let's see if we can out-leverage the defense with a bunch of reach blocks, and the blocking is excellent. And by the time he does meet a defender, it's too late. He's across the line, across the goal line.
Alex Wolschlager, another redshirt freshman, number 50 with a key block there, and this is Needham with the extra point. Missed one last week, but drills that. So last week the Falcons unable to take advantage of turnovers, did just that. And with the flip to Patterson, Bowling Green draws first blood. Let's see what Preston Rice does on his second possession when we come back.
Aflac policyholders have been paid $37 billion directly. That's a lot of money.
Did somebody say money?
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac is ready for prime time.
Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
The human body has more than 650 muscles. The only one that never rests is the heart. Maybe that's why true courage never rests either. Advent Health is a proud supporter of the incredible inside us all.
Just days ago, former Bowling Green basketball star Rashawn Holmes signed a 4-year, $46 million contract with the Kings. Includes a base salary of $10,384,500. Back on homecoming. It's a good man to get to know, I think.
Absolutely. And, you know, he's making Jim Barber money. So you tell me, what's that like to bring home a bag like that, Jim? I mean, $40 million guaranteed?
I always get excited about expenses from mileage, so I wish. Second possession coming up, and this one, too, will start from the 25-yard line. So just moments to go after the interception. A quick turnaround and a turn of events for Bowling Green on the touchdown by Jamie Patterson.
We talked about being efficient on first down, right? And they got behind the sticks, and that's not how they want to play football. They want to be good on first down, and that can be with a pass. They were able to throw the football early last week and really get up on the sticks and be efficient that way. So it doesn't matter. First down has to be a win for them, and then they can stay with the threat of the run, and that's when Preston becomes a really good passer, when you don't know he's going to throw it. But if you know he has to throw it, that's a problem for this offense.
He's got 3 good running backs, and one, DeMonte, who wears 31, very versatile against the football on his first series of downs and carries up to the 30-yard line. You know, a 31, Witherspoon. The book on him, very versatile, probably the most versatile on the team. Good vision, tough guy to tackle.
Yeah, he's got quickness and elusiveness, but what you saw right there is that's a good first down play for them. And he's just a freshman, redshirt freshman out of East St. Louis, but that's the type of first play that they need. Now things are going to see, you're going to see this offense settle down a little bit on this particular series.
Jacob Bell, Lamartez Brooks to the outside of Rice. Not even looking that way. Gets it to Witherspoon, tripped up just beyond the 30-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and 5.
That's a nice play by Cy Dabney, coming up from his safety position, making a short tackle. I like to see him bring his arms, but if you're going to go down to those ankles, you better make the play, and that's exactly what he did.
Watching Dabney play is a thrill because he likes to hit people. So does Ferguson, number 7, who will line up against the other team's best wide receiver. Line to gain is the 35 on 3rd down. Here comes the blitz. Rice picks it up and still unable to gain anything. In fact, lost a couple of yards. He's got strong escapability, Tioka, but right there, too many bodies for him to manage.
Didn't catch the number, but they got him by the ankle, because if they didn't, he'd still be running. He had a lot of room to run, and that's the downside to blitzing. You better get home, because a running quarterback will kill you, because everybody in the secondary is running with their back towards the quarterback.
Lewis Halton, redshirt sophomore, will punt back at his own 15-yard line. 7-0 Bowling Green, 5 minutes in. The matchup of the OVC and the MAC. Ferguson is back. It will bounce out of bounds. Good field position for the Falcons from their own 34. Let's see what the second series on offense looks like. A little longer field to negotiate this time for quarterback Matt McDonald.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson. Now, buy the all-new 22 Tucson with 1.9% APR or get up to $500 cash back. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
Terry Malone up in the booth, the offensive coordinator, talks about the dinner call. And the running backs sit by him, and they get called last because they're all freshmen. And there are 60 freshmen on this roster.
I mean, it's crazy, the youth. But, we talked to Scott Leffler, and he brings up one of the big buzzwords in sports, and it's a process. But it really is for a young team like this. You've got to teach them how to practice properly, teach them how to take a loss and come back and practice better. He said they're getting better in practice, and he expects it to show up in the games, and we'll see if that works out this way today.
Football just shy of the 40, Tioka. Second possession for Bowling Green, which capitalized on the interception for 6 a little earlier. McDonald, 3-step drop, incomplete. So you talk about the process. Scott Leffler in his 3rd year thinks it's going to be a great rebuild. But how do you make the fans patient who want a winner and want it now?
Well, that's always tough. I guess the best way to do that is to show progression on the field. And you have to talk about it and remind everybody that we're young and our future is bright. But at the end of the day, he's got to show that the team is getting better. And sometimes when you get this young, getting better doesn't always mean winning the game. It's just the product on the field, the way you execute. But wins certainly help. There's no question about that.
Yeah. In fact, he was saying earlier in the week, we need a payoff here.
Right.
A win is a payoff, as McDonald and Osborne, high school teammates, combined there.
Mission Viejo, California. They've been doing that for a long time. And that's how they get a lot of catches to Osborne. They want to get the ball in his hands with some blockers on the perimeter because he is their go-to guy. He's a very good athlete, not quite a super burner, but after the catch, he can really make people miss.
And it brings up a 3rd and 9 with a very modest gain of a yard. Showing blitz the racers. Let's see how many they decide to bring. They'll bring everybody. McDonald picks it up. 1st down catch. Past the 50-yard line to Tyrone Broden, his 2nd catch of the day.
And he's their big guy. He's the guy with the large catch radius. If you go one-on-one with him and give him cushion, the out route is there all day because he's going to shield the defender with his body. And if the ball comes out on time and on target, it should be a completion. That's exactly what happened there.
Good job of the youthful offensive line. You saw by the numbers with the classes of mostly redshirt freshmen being able to pick up that blitz that allowed McDonald to hit Broad moments ago.
And they still had a free guy, but that's where McDonald's got to get the ball out. So, yes, block all that you can block, but if they bring more than you can block, the quarterback has to recognize that and get the ball out. So right there was great execution by both the offensive line and the quarterback. And don't look now, Jim, there's some running lanes up there for Bowling Green. I know the fans at home are like, wow, we can run the ball? Well, so far, so good.
Yeah, last week just 9 carries, 19 yards. After the pickup of 5, the ball at the 43 of Murray State. Empty backfield for McDonald, looking to his left. Going to get swallowed up back at the 48-yard line. Had no chance on the play. That's Quindarius Myers. Check that. Austin Dalton with a tackle.
Dalton gets the quarterback sack, but it was Samuda, number 34, Eric Samuda, who picked the back up out of the backfield. It was great coverage, and Matt McDonald had to bring that ball down. And when you match the coverage up with the rush, if you're a rush guy, you want to say, if that quarterback patched the ball, if he has any indecision, I got to be there. And that's exactly what happened with Austin making a big sack.
Yeah, you mentioned Samuda. He had a 75-yard pick 6 during the spring season for the Racers. That's right, they played football the 2020 season in 2021. And now 4th down. So imagine playing a number of games, 7 in total, and turning right around and now coming into your scheduled season of 2021.
Yeah, thank COVID for that, right? I mean,
yes,
it was crazy. It's been, everybody's life has been turned upside down, and you know, these athletic programs are no different. Just made things a lot different than they've ever been, and so you just got to adapt and just keep moving forward.
Matt Naranjo will punt. He had 7 punts last week, 5 inside the 20, and that's number 21, Lamartez Brooks. Just hard-pressed to find a senior on either side of the ball, pretty much. Left-footed kicker, fair catch being called and made around the 12-yard line. Well, we've spoken of youth for Bowling Green, but how about Murray State? All 22 starters back. One of the few FCS teams, along with very few FBS teams, to have everybody returning both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and we talked to head coach Dean Hood about that and what that affords, and that affords them the ability to build on. We don't have to reteach our scheme. We don't have to reteach our techniques. We've been doing it with these guys. Now we can start to expand our playbook and start to move to the next level. But with all 22 back, you just don't have, that doesn't happen very often. And so again, we talked about the future being bright for Bowling Green. It's bright for the Racers as well.
Rodney Castile's a running back on this team as they try to get the ball to him on a number of occasions, and that carry is solid on 1st down.
One of the few seniors, Mr. Castile. Nice job on 1st down, but that's the efficiency we're talking about. Getting 1st downs on 1st down never hurts.
Very few teams, either FBS or FCS, return everyone. Some coaches say after a bad season that's a plus and a minus, but Murray State is coming off a good spring season. A lot of people think they will win the OVC. In fact, they're the sentimental pick at this point.
Yeah, no question. They've got a lot of talent. They got some FCS guys who could legitimately play for FBS teams, and whenever you have a sprinkle of that, you're always ahead of your opponents. There's no question about it. They've done a good job of stockpiling. I expect them to be a playoff team.
And they call that the college free agent market.
Yeah, that's right, with all the transfers.
2nd and 6. Fast-moving first quarter, 6.5 remaining. Rice with a good look at the play from the sidelines and the defense. Keeping his eyes on 7. Ferguson, he'll hand it off. It will be short of the 1st down by 3.
We talk about the advantage of having a running football team. Everything's spread, right, in college football. Everything's spread. Everything is basketball on the field. But when you have a running team, you don't get a chance to practice against that. And so when they're trying to punch you in the mouth, how do you prepare, right? And so that's the advantage. You got a big offensive line. You're committed to the run. You'll run it on 2nd and long, and you see positive yards. This is where the Racers want to be offensively. 3rd and very manageable.
Need to pick up 3 and get it to the 34-yard line. Rice will look to his right. And into coverage. And a penalty flag on top of the play. If it's contact on Bowling Green, that will be an automatic 1st down. And, well, on defense there, Devin Taylor thought he didn't commit anything.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say it was outstanding coverage, but,
Maybe too good.
Right, according to the guys in the striped shirts, it might have been too good, like you said. I saw a holding signal. I don't know if that's going to be defensive holding or not.
Referee is Art Brown. Today, the man in the white cap.
Pass interference, defense, number 3. That penalty is enforced at the spot of the foul.
These are Mid-American Conference officials. Let's take a look at Devin Taylor defending here and see if he committed the offense.
Usually it's at the top of the route when you see hook routes. There's a little bit of a hand. You're okay there. As he grabbing jersey. I think there was some jersey grab there. Wasn't a whole lot going on. So I'm going to assume there was some cloth being grabbed because that's the only way that yellow flag should have came out.
And it is an automatic first down now at the Racers' 46. Played a most competitive game against Cincinnati for 2 1/3 quarters last week. 7-7 game and then got blown out. And today's Cincinnati rallied from 2 touchdowns back to beat Indiana.
That's a quality football team in Cincinnati.
Yes, sir.
And for them to hang in with them like they did, that shows you the type of program they're building here at Murray State.
And fairly or not, Luke Fickell already being mentioned for the USC opening, even though he's coaching a team that's pretty good right now.
College football, boy, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Back to the ground game. Castillo's been a principal runner along with Witherspoon, and that's number 18 they're carrying. And on first down, they are making lots of plays easier on 2nd and 3rd.
And how are they doing it, Jim? They're doing it with offensive line, right? I mean, we talk about quarterbacks getting warmed up and getting in a rhythm. Those big guys get in a rhythm too. They love to run the football. There's nothing more fun for those big horses up front than to smash the guy in front of them. And right now, they get in movement across that line of scrimmage.
All 5 O-linemen weigh over 300 pounds, have to be one of the heaviest line teams in the country. And as a result, another first down on the ground, which eats up clock and keeps the ball away from Bowling Green's offense. The offensive line, you're hard-pressed to find anybody that's even close to being under 300. And because this group is one of the more physical teams, it can push the ball up and down the field and use time.
Yeah, and with that, we talk about it a lot. It's like body punches. Look at the weight discrepancy. That's a problem come the 4th quarter, but you have to make the body punches hurt now, and they'll pay dividends later.
Good point. First down now for the BG 42. Opens up play action, but Rice is in trouble. Now looking down the field and throwing. He's got a man. Incomplete.
Big hit right there by Davion Ferguson, but we've seen this now twice where those balls are floating. I'm just telling you right now, when you float the ball against big hitters like number 7, somebody's going to pay a price. And there it is. Jacob Bell pays it right there.
Was Ferguson close to targeting there?
Well, I'd like to see it again, but he wasn't early, so a PI is off the table, but I didn't see a high hit there above the shoulders. Let's take a look at it.
And there's the hit.
Well, that head was a little low. But I think the shoulder made contact first.
This is going to be what they call a TFL, and a tackle for loss. Brooks was there. Brand was there. The old man, Walter Hare, was there, number 56.
Yeah, that's Carl Brooks. Captain, junior Carl Brooks, makes a nice play, knifes inside, and gets a tackle for loss, like you said, and that's how you stop the run game. Penetration. Look at the penetration right there. You've got a tight end on him. That's not going to get it done. And who was his friend that came with him? I didn't see the defensive tackle number there, but boy, that is really good run defense, and that's what the Racers want to avoid. TFLs, it sets them off schedule.
Got to pick up 13. Rice over the middle, incomplete. Wouldn't have been a first down as Ferguson almost picked it off. So now it's 4th down, and the Raiders will give up the ball.
I like that guy, number 7. He does it against the run. He does it against the pass. And he does it with a cast on his arm, right? There's a difference between being hurt and being injured. And in college football, you figure that out very quickly. The guys who can play with some pain are going to separate themselves from the other guys who will sit on the bench with a little owie. And I got a lot of respect for number 7. He's a good player.
I like the way you put that.
What, owie?
Yeah.
Well, I got kids, man. I know what an owie is.
Punt's going to come from the 40 of the Racers. See if there's any chance for a return here as Ferguson is out of the game. We're going to let it roll, and it's going to roll nicely for Murray State. All the way down to about the 5-yard line. Good-looking punt. The Falcons come back deep in their own territory. 3.5 to go, opening quarter. Let's see how they manage the ball then.
Aflac policyholders have been paid $37 billion directly. That's a lot of money.
Did somebody say money?
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac is ready for prime time.
Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson. Now, buy the all-new 22 Tucson with 1.9% APR or get up to $500 cash back. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
Let us flash back to September '84. The last time Murray State beat a FBS team was Louisville, #1 television show Dynasty. Alex Trebek, first syndicated season of Jeopardy. How about number 3, huh?
Who you gonna call? Bill Murray.
Macintosh Computer introduced, and Dean Hood, veteran coach, was all conference at Ohio Wesleyan, age around 2021 or so.
This is a great opportunity right now, okay, for this Racer defense. You got Bowling Green backed up, right? If you can make them punt from inside their 10, you'll set your offense up with really good field position. So this is where team play, defense carry to the offense, but also special teams as well. They got an opportunity to flip the field their direction.
Falcons 0-2, Racers 1-1. Football being snapped around the 5-yard line. McDonald looking a little dual option, keeps the football, got out of danger. First down and a pickup by quarterback Matt McDonald.
He really does it all for this offense. He gets involved in the running game. He's the #1 passer. We talked about that in the MAC. Little read option with a lead guy. Now he's got an option to pass it or run it, and he decided to keep that ball. And they really like Christian Sims. He could have thrown that ball, but he used him as a lead blocker and got a first down.
Nice little fake to Terrion Stewart. Now Jamie Patterson replaces Stewart into backfield along with McDonald. Drops the throw, shooting coverage man on the outside. There was some bumping and grinding going, but nothing was available right there because of the good defense imposed by number 12, Devontae McKee.
Yeah, and I like he didn't panic. Didn't get handsy, stayed in great position. A lot of times as defenders, you don't have to intercept the ball or you don't have to be all over a guy. You just got to be in right position and force a perfect throw, and that's exactly what happened there. Couldn't get the perfect throw. That was a 50-50 ball. They wanted to get the ball up to Broden and see if he could go up and get it, but the quarterback could give him a chance. He threw it out of bounds.
McKee is actually the backup corner to Marcus Floyd, considered to be one of the best defenders in the OVC, as illegal procedure being called on Bowling Green.
Ball start. Offense. Number 11. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
William Steinke is the umpire today of the Mid-American Conference officials. Flores Stabilo, the head linesman. The side judge is Jared Flesh. Line judge Brett Carpenter. Field judge Marcus Cameron. Back judge Chris Curry. The center judge is Darren Haas, and replay official, when we spoke to prior to the game, Roger Quinlan.
Nothing drives a coach crazy more than pre-snap penalties.
Especially deep in your own territory, and McDonald on a bullet intended for Austin Osborne now has a third and very long.
He got some quick pressure in his face, and that made that play off target. Looking for the slant to number 18 Osborne, and wasn't there because of the pressure. Watch him throwing off his back foot. Well, excuse me, he stepped into it, but I think he rushed the throw. Osborne's there. Just let him a little too much.
Defended well by the safety Don Parker on the play. Third and a lot. Have to get the ball to the 25 to continue the series.
The Racers bring pressure again like they did on last third down on rush 3.
Just rushing 3 and dropping 8. McDonald throwing against that to the outside. Ball caught, first down. Back-to-back first down runs and passes, this time to Tyrone Broden. So on third down, they're pretty efficient here.
And they're starting to go after Devontae McKee. Don't know where Marcus Floyd is. He talked about it. He's one of the best corners in all of the FCS. And it looks like he might, is that him lined up at safety, the safety position? I'm not 100% sure, but they're starting to pick on McKee. And I think they feel like they got a nice matchup on the outside against the backup corner.
Yeah, Floyd wears 24 and will likely call his name and number.
I think he's lined up at safety.
Showing blitz from the outside. They'll run the football here and a lot of room to run it. Keith is getting his opportunity. Had a pass catch earlier on the first drive. And now Teron Keith carries for the first down to the 43-yard line.
And if you're Bowling Green, this is what the doctor asked for. You had a free runner, but he just couldn't get there and make the play. That was number 51, Levi Matheny, couldn't get there because of the speed of Keith. Great job.
Timeout for administrative issue.
And the issue might be the chains right now, as the first down was picked up to the 43, unless there's somebody with a uniform that needs to have some adjusting. That's always a reason for time being called.
And speaking of adjusting, I'm curious why number 24 is lining up at safety. I'm wondering, we got to take a look to see if there's someone hurt that we missed. Is there someone that didn't start or something? Because 24, again, we talked about Marcus Floyd is one of the best corners in all of FCS football, if not the best. And right now, I've seen him line up more than once at safety. So just that's something to keep an eye on as they continue to go after Devontae McKee.
Yeah, you wonder if it's due to an injury or maybe some shifting they've gone on. Back to the ground game. Terrion Stewart, we mentioned, is probably one of their more aggressive runners, but right now they're showing kind of a plethora of people, and this time it's Nick Mosley carrying the football.
Right now, number 24 is going to have to show up and be the alley player against the run, and I promise you that's not what he wants to be. Corners do not want to be alley players having to make plays on backs, and now he's moved back to corner. So very interesting with the shuffling going on right now.
2nd and 5. It's Mosley again. This time nothing doing. Back to the original line of scrimmage as we wind down the first quarter.
Eric Samuda came through and blew that play up right off the bat. Any type of run game, I don't care if it's a spread run or if you line up in two tights, penetration destroys it, and Samuda came through right away and made that a possible stop for his teammates.
You know who's going to be the team that hasn't been an FBS squad since the 80s, or
that is
Scott Loeffler's Bowling Green team, which hasn't won in 2 years. Falcons, good first quarter. They'll come back on offense when we start the second on homecoming. We'll try this either at home. Looks scary to me. Fun day today, and some interesting highlights already in the game on the touchdown there scored by Patterson.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
What the hell happened to my face? Guess who's back again? I bet they know as soon as we walk in. Shut up. Why would I go back to a visual medium? I could have done a podcast. Look out!
Pretty fall downtown scene of Bowling Green, Ohio. As we get back to live action, McDonald trying to convert on third down for the third consecutive time. Pending the spot is going to be about a yard short. Dylan Sanders has got work cut out for him. He's the defensive coordinator. He, by the way, spent some time in the Indoor Football League as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's seen it all. But I like that, though, because you get a perspective on all sides of the ball. You kind of got an understanding of what the offensive coordinator's side of the ball, because you know it, but hard to defend on such a short third down right there. Nice job of getting that ball out of his hands by Matt McDonald.
So three straight times needing to pick up a first down. The Falcons did just that. Roden goes in motion as they have trips to the right side. McDonald looks to the right side. Intended for Osborne. And what a catch inside the 30 by his former high school teammate, Austin Osborne.
Well, he went up and got that one, didn't he? And when that ball was released, I saw two Racer's conversion on that pass, I thought it was going to be bad news, but when you got a guy who's competitive and willing to go up and get it for your former high school teammate, watch that. High point that ball. Nice job. Really good throw to get it over the underneath defender, but not too high so his own guy couldn't catch it. And I see you flexing, Mr. Osborne.
Cortez Roberts did a pretty nice job of defending on the play, but Osborne made the catch. McDonald to the other side to Broden. Makes a man miss, and then he gets swallowed up and might have picked up a yard or two at most.
The key to stopping all of those wide receiver screens, the tunnel screen, the smoke screen, is pursuit from the inside out. Yeah, they may block a corner or two on the outside, but when you got a wave of defenders coming inside, you just got to keep leverage because the cavalry's coming. Nice job by the team in white to flow to the football.
And Terrion Stewart back on offense in the backfield with McDonald. Ball to 27. So we've seen maybe 4 different running backs so far for Scott Loeffler's team. How about that?
Yeah, getting everybody involved, and that's the bowling ball. Tyron Stewart, boy, 5'9", 210, freshman from Memphis, but Don Parker wasn't having any of it. That was a nice one-on-one tackle in the open field by number 7, the free safety. Good job there to make it 3rd and about 6, 5 or 6.
Well, BG wants to find ways to run the ball. They want to be physical. 3rd and a pass. They'll run it, though, on 3rd down, and this pitch with all the pressure on the inside there, or the outside, that was going nowhere.
The Murray State Racers racing to their football. I love it. I love when defenses play with this sort of pursuit. Watch it now. There's only 11 guys on the field, but it looks like more than that. You tell me where you're going to go if you're a runner. Excellent job of pursuit. Defense is about attitude and pursuit. Offense is alignment and assignment. Defense is about being a dog. Right now, the team in white got a bunch of dogs out there.
Jason Patterson, nowhere to go running the ball. And this is a 43-yard attempt by Matt Needham, who has a 42 and a 50-yarder to his credit. Trying to make it a 2-score game early second quarter. So the Falcons, for the first time, well, this season, are up by 2 possessions.
Field goal is acceptable.
3 minutes into the second quarter. Let's see what kind of answer Preston Rice has for the Murray State offense when we return.
You packed a record 1.1 trillion transistors into this chip.
I invested in Invesco QQQ, a fund that invests in the innovators of the NASDAQ 100, like you.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ.
What's your emergency?
A car went through the barrier.
It is a sea of orange today on homecoming. Bowling Green celebrating year 2021. A lot of folks made their way out as opposed to the crowd that we saw last week when it was kind of sparing.
Homecoming.
Yeah, it's a great time, and showing you some of the shots from outside the stadium that been most impressive so far. Jim Barber, Tyoka Jackson, who started Penn State. He's a little nervous on this broadcast. It's because his Lions are hosting dangerous Auburn tonight.
Nervous who?
And a whiteout in Happy Valley.
You're wearing a white shirt. I'm wearing a white shirt with some blue in it. I think we setting this thing up, man. I think some people are going to be shocked at how hard it is to win in Happy Valley.
10-0 Bowling Green. Let's see what kind of answer now that Murray State has, where it will start its possession once again from the 25-yard line. This team is loaded with preseason honors. In fact, 10 players have been honored prior to the start of the season, so it's hardly a surprise this is the team to beat in the league.
Yeah, they had 13 last year, 10 this year. We talked to the head coach about it, Dean Hood, and what does that mean for you? He said, well, it's great for recruiting, it's great for the fans, but at the end of the day, it's what happens between the white lines on the field is going to determine our success. But what that tells me is that recruiting is going well, player development is going well, and this team is going to be a monster in the FCS playoffs going forward. There's no question about it in my mind. And again, they're young.
How about this little gimmick play on first down? And a flag being called, being thrown at the 45-yard line. Going to be pass interference, I would think, against Ferguson.
Can't wait
gadget play.
Yeah, I can't wait to look at that one because that's very close, tight coverage. And, you know, when the ball is in the air, the defense has a right to go for it as well. Let's take a look at it. Got man coverage on the outside. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see
Pass
that.
interference, defense, number 7. That 15-yard penalty is enforced on the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Ball intended for 21, Lamartez Brooks.
Take a look at the right hand, right? The right hand does not foul at all, right? That's hand fighting. That's fine. You know the left hand isn't grabbing cloth because he's got a cast on. I don't see pass interference. I see 2 athletes going after the football. I disagree with that call, Jim.
Moves the football just the same, now up to the 40 with the penalty. By the way, did you see in the footage that the other receiver who wanted the ball was Preston Rice? As if he doesn't do enough as a quarterback. On first down, DeMonte Witherspoon. And you know, with an offensive line that it has, a veteran team, and with all that weight up front, that strength up front, it'd be foolish not to run the football.
Yeah, well, some people say, well, wait, you're down 2 scores. What are you doing running the ball? Well, this is who they are. And the scoreboard has not gotten away from them. And what you see there is pretty good line of defense, but there's no penetration. And number 31 bounces it. DeMonte Witherspoon uses his vision, bounces that to the outside, and does a great job of getting 9 yards.
Ben Hodges is the offensive coordinator. 2nd and 1, chance to pitch it here. They'll do just that. Incomplete. It's almost like a free down, though, because now you have 3rd and 1. Why not take a shot?
Yeah, on defense, we call it waist down. We used to hear Herm Edwards, our defensive back coach back in Tampa, used to yell, waist down, because you're not giving up anything. And you had this, but watch the pressure at the end that forces him to throw off the back foot. If he would have been able to step into that pass, I've seen it on film, Preston Rice would have hit that for a touchdown. But that's what pass rush can do for you. If you can get a pass rush consistently, it knocks all of that good stuff going on in your backfield out.
That's Carl Brooks applying the pressures. The first down is picked up rather easily by DeMonte Witherspoon. Now into Bowling Green territory. And when we looked at the first quarter numbers, just 26 total yards for Murray State. So what's important in terms of getting some points on the board here in the second quarter?
Keep running the football, okay? If you're the Racers, this is who you are. You've got an offensive line that's bigger and stronger than the defensive line. Well, like we said, the scoreboard is not away from you yet. Just keep running the football and then take your shots when you can. It'll be there for you. Stay out of 3rd and long.
Malik Honeycutt, one of the wide receivers to the far side. Where's number 2? Faking the option is Rice straight ahead. He's the number 2 ball carrier on this team. And when you ask Dean Hood, the head coach, about him running, he says, I always grab my heart. It's my quarterback, man. It's a key guy.
But the other thing is, it's what makes them really, really good.
Sure.
And it makes your offense tough to stop because it's usually an extra guy who cannot, or I should say the offense has an extra guy when a quarterback carries the football. You can't account for that. And so often he has running lanes when he keeps the ball.
Got 2 yards on the first run and past the original line of scrimmage. Now sets up a 3rd, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. Sets up a 3rd and long. The defensive coordinator for Bowling Green up in the booth is Eric Lewis, and we were speaking to him during the week about defending this run, and he said, you know, in the case of Rice, we got to keep some eyes on him. You know, he can't get away from us.
Yeah, because he's a part of the run game, but he also talked about penetration. And that last play, he got quick penetration and made the running back divert where he wants to go. Penetration is the key to stopping all running games. This is not what the Racers want to be 3rd and long. Let's see if they can convert.
Have to get it to the 35 to continue the series. Pressure against Rice, throwing, got a man. Ball caught inside the 20-yard line.
Stepped out of bounds.
The ruling on the field is a catch.
Montez Brooks with a catch and a big play on 3rd down from the 42 inside the 20. Now they're in the red zone for the first time.
This is called back shoulder, partner. I love the play. Watch the throw. This is an intentional underthrow to the back shoulder. Great job of adjusting by Lamartez Brooks, and let's see if he steps out. And boy, that is close. I mean, I saw green between his heel and the white line. Boy, I mean, obviously you'd love a blow up of that, and the ref is all over it, but I'm not sure he stepped out of bounds.
Spot the ball at the 19-yard line. Great scoring threat right now for Murray State, and back to number 31, DeMonte Witherspoon.
If I'm Eric Lewis, I'm getting nervous because that running game is starting to hump. And if you can't stop the Murray State Racers from running the football, it becomes an avalanche. And that's when they start play passing. And that's when Preston Rice begins to bootleg and things begin to get really crazy. First things first, you got to knock this run out, but it's getting warmed up for the guys in white.
They've had 9 yards and 7 yards on first down runs. It's second here and 3. Boy, nothing overly scientific about this offense right now. As 35 Cortez Jones gets his first carry.
And that wasn't very much, but that was enough. They'll take 3 in a cloud of dust all day. They're fine with that. Why? Because it's 3rd and 1. And I wouldn't be shocked if this was 2-down territory anyway. But 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, that's where that guy wants to live because that's the makeup of his team. And they rely on his strength, which is that huge offensive line.
A 40-pound difference between the Murray State offensive line and the defensive front of Bowling Green. Just need a yard here. Witherspoon's second effort got it. It'll be 1st and goal from the 8. It's a good-looking drive.
It's not real pretty, right? Let's be honest. It's not real pretty. It's old school, but it's effective.
Yes.
Right? And it tests.
I like old school.
I do. Well, we're both old.
Well, and the head coach is like that, too, for Murray.
Watch Witherspoon's legs keep running on contact. You show me a guy who stops his feet on contact, I'll show you an unsuccessful runner. Show me a guy who's willing to take the punishment and keep moving forward, and I'll show you a guy who can play for me.
This time the quarterback keeps faking to Witherspoon, puts his head down. Now the pile will do a drive toward the 5-yard line. It'll be stopped, though, around the 6.
That was a scrum.
Yeah.
That was a rugby scrum right there. Big pile up.
Rolling on the field is forward progress will stop. Number 5 of the defense has to sit out one play.
So the helmet came off, and so Bowling Green is going to send somebody to the sidelines. It'll be 2nd and goal when they restart the clock.
So what happens when the tailback run game begins to come alive? Well, you start to now fake it, and you start keeping it as a quarterback, and you're now playing with the eyes of the linebackers in secondary. But it all starts with handing the football to the tailback and getting positive yards.
2nd and goal. Back to Witherspoon. Heading to the end zone. Touchdown.
That drive was all about the offensive line and the running of Witherspoon, right? That is like a diesel engine. It's starting to get revved up now, right? Excellent job of just pushing and mushing and dominating the line of scrimmage by the big guys, and the beneficiary is any back who's running it right now is Witherspoon. And watch Witherspoon finish the runoff. Right? You see, you never want to see backs falling forward if you're a defensive guy. You always want to see that on offense. Great job by Witherspoon finishing that ball off into the end zone.
Now Aaron Baum for the extra point on the hole by Lewis Holton. 10-7 our score. Racers weren't going to be shut.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Calendar about to flip to fall. Fall weather's coming in the Midwest, by the way. Clouds are going to change, and in fact, we're looking at temperatures, highs of 70s and 60s later in the week. That's gorgeous football weather. That's DeMonte Witherspoon. We got the first touchdown of the day for the Racers to bring them within 3.
He had a little owie on the sidelines, had his elbow looked at. I guarantee you we'll see 31 again, though.
You know, seeing or hearing a big guy say owie is just classic, man. I mean, you were the sack master at Penn State.
No, but really, I mean, it's a mentality. Football is about attrition. It's a game of attrition. And, you know, if you can have mind over matter, deal with the pain, legitimately sit out if you're injured. There should be no heroes with the injury stuff. But pain is a part of the game, right? And the guys who can't take a little bit of pain or even a moderate amount of pain, this isn't your game. And the teams that can continue to do that as we get into October and November and continue to practice hard through all the bumps and bruises, those teams show up playing the best at the end.
One of those great football teams is being challenged today. Alabama, once leading Florida 21-3, now up just 21-16 with about 5 to go in the third quarter.
That's college football right there, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, you got to bring it every week, and there's only 11 or 12 weeks to do it. Every game counts. You have to be on your A game, especially if you're Alabama, because everybody's hunting you.
If Alabama loses, Stephen A. Smith is in trouble. Because he told Tim Tebow, he says they're going to wax the floor with Florida during the week.
Right now, that wax looks a little dirty.
Yeah, a little
see.
slippery, huh?
We'll see.
Teron Keith deep for Bowling Green. And he'll let it go. So the Falcons restart with 3 timeouts remaining in the first half.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Last week an art fair in downtown Bowling Green, Ohio. This week saluting homecoming 2021 as the alums have come back in force here. Erica Jackson, Jim Barber. Bowling Green on offense. Little pitch out of the backfield by the quarterback McDonald to Patterson, who does the rest. He has the Falcon touchdown, and he now has a first down.
How about the ball handling right there by Matt McDonald? He's showing us a little bit of everything. Right there, he fakes the jet sweep with one hand, rolls out on a sort of a waggle, and throws a very accurate ball on the run to his freshman running back. I mean, this guy does everything for this offense. He is the MVP of this team. They have got to keep him clean and upright for them to have any chance to win these games going forward.
How about McDonald weeks 2 and 3? We've seen him both weeks. What do you think?
I like him a lot. Right, he can do it in different ways. He can throw from the pocket. Right now they get the running game going a little bit, but threw for over 300 yards last week. Right, we talked about he's averaging more than anyone else throwing the ball in the MAC every week. This week he's done a little bit of everything. He's running the football. We saw the ball handling. Right, they want to be a running team, and if they were able to run the ball, this guy would then go from being a very good quarterback to a superstar because it will open up that secondary for him.
What do you think? Good genes in the family with his dad, quarterback at USC?
That helps, right?
Won a Rose Bowl, only lost 1 game as quarterback for John McKay's team back in the day. McDonald throwing long on man coverage. Broden tried to go up and get it, was picked off. Devontae McKee has been very active in that secondary with the interception on the home run ball.
Well, he's been active because they've been targeting him. And he says, number 12, okay, you come after me, I'll make a play. Now, you talked about
it's an interception.
You talked about the receiver.
10, Murray State.
You talked about the receiver going up and get it. I think, honestly, Jim, he let the ball come down. Nice pressure towards him. But watch Broden. You got to go get it. You can't let that come down because then it brings the DB in play. And that's a really nice play on the ball by McKee, a guy they've been targeting. And so he comes back to bite him. Nice job of recognizing the go route. He's in great position. The ball's pretty well thrown, but if you're Broden, go get it. You're 6'4", 200 pounds. If you let the ball come down, you're no longer 6'4", right? And a guy at 5'10" makes a play on the ball.
Marked him out of bounds at the 45, so he had a return of almost 30 yards on the pick. Now Rice in trouble. Going to get swallowed up. And a sack. And a loss all the way back to the 37-yard line as Spires was able to get penetration without any difficulty.
Got a flag.
Maybe on the secondary of Bowling Green, at least that's what the back judges pointing to.
Defense, number 6. That 10-yard penalty is enforced from the previous spot. 1st and 10.
That's on number 6, Bryce Brand, the senior linebacker.
Jim, this works in the OVC, okay? You pull it down now. In the OVC, you can keep doing this because you're as good an athlete as anybody on the field. But against an FBS team like this, that ball's got to come out. You cannot continue to hold that ball and think you're going to matriculate that pocket and make people miss. And that's what right now, that's what Murray State has to adjust to. The things that work in the OVC aren't necessarily going to work today. You got to get that ball out of his hands. Now, obviously, the defensive penalty, it's not a problem, but that's something to remember with Preston Rice. Know to get rid of that ball. Don't do too much.
So instead of the sack and a loss at 10, the penalty is a plus 15. Witherspoon, no gain on the play as he's swallowed up. Darren Anders was up there, and he got plenty of help.
That's the first time we called Anders' name, and that's an upset, right? The guy is averaging 11 tackles a game.
It's a good sign for the offensive coordinator, Ben Hodges, of the Racers.
Well, he's a guy you got to get blocked. And they say he's always in position to make plays, and when he gets a chance to make a play, he makes it. You see there, he was in position to make it. He's not going to miss tackles. The thing is, this big offensive line, if you can get up to the second level, you're going to engulf him with these 300-pounders.
Back to the run, back to Witherspoon. Just joining us, Bowling Green jumped out 10-0. The Racers, solid drive moments ago, made it 10-7. And with the pick, are now on the move right now with the football located at the 43 of Bowling Green.
Watch the blocking. If you play tight end for the Racers, you got to block. Look at number 87 come around the horn. Jake Satoff, nice job of blocking Anders on the corner and gives his back a run. Listen, you don't want to lose yardage. 3rd and 8 is not where you want to be, but it's better than a loss. Good job of blocking up front.
And 63, Nevi Lessler, also good blocking on the outside. Rice has got a lot of room to run here. And he has got the first down as he high hurdles inside the 35-yard line for a pickup of 8.
Remember we
like
talked
he ran
about
20 yards on a play.
It did, right, and because he backed up to get out of that pocket. But remember we talked about being sound on the edges? This is what I'm talking about right here. You got an athletic quarterback. You got to contain this guy. And watch the moxie and smelling the first down. There you go, go get it. Get up over him. I'm like, he could probably jumped over a book, but it's good enough because if you're going to go low as a defender, this is how you beat a low guy. Come up and chest him up. Don't jump at his heels or his toes. The guy will go up over you, first down. Nice job by Preston Rice.
Wonder what the head coach was thinking when Rice bodied up there and challenged the defense. Rice he's fearless, isn't he?
He is, but that's what makes him a really good player. You can't really take it away from him. You just want him to be smart with his decision making. There are times to eat the ball, go down, and don't take the big hit. But there are times on 3rd and long in the open field where you got to make a play for your offense.
Cole McDonald, a tight end, enters the game now. He's 85 for the team in white.
This is exactly what the Racers want.
Oh, yes.
Shoe and clock. Shorten the game. Possess the football. Protect your defense. Again, not sexy, old school, but effective.
Ronnie Castile back in the game in the backfield. Rice throwing out of the backfield. It's going to leave him short at the 30-yard line. Jake Sidoff with his first catch of the day, 87, the redshirt freshman.
Nice job of getting that ball out of his hands. All right, Rice.
Official timeout for an injured defensive player.
Got a big guy with the ball. Look at that number 7. I mean, I'm so impressed with this guy. He keeps making play after play. He's not afraid to make a tackle because he's a converted safety. So you know he can hit. And he's emotional. And he's fearless. And he's a leader by the way he plays. He's somebody that the whole defense can rally around. When you see little guys coming up and hitting big guys, it gets you fired up.
Well, and apparently he had a camp that was worthy of his coaching staff pointing him out to everybody else.
Yeah, when you can play in practice the way you play in a game, you notice I didn't say practice in practice, play in practice, right? You got to come to practice like it's a game. When you do that, you become an example for everybody else because you play like you practice. No secret there, right?
Sure. 3rd and 5, under 2 minutes, first half. Murray State on the move. Rice, a quick throw. That's a tough catch there, and it's incomplete, so it'll be 4th down. Now a decision to be made, as apparently they will attempt a field goal, and Aaron Baum, who has yet to hit one, is going to try to connect here to tie the game.
And Jake Satoff is like, why, coach? Why, quarterback? Why'd you throw that ball with all those guys around? I mean, he took a shot right there. Nice job of holding on to the ball, but, you know, he took one for the team there.
Dean Hood, the head coach, says, I got plenty of confidence in Baum. Attempting just his 4th try of the year. This would pull him even to 10. Plenty of leg. Tie game. Well, that's why Dean Hood still feels pretty good about him.
Successful immediate timeout.
Falcons have 3 timeouts and a $1.46 here late in the first half.
You packed a record 1.1 trillion transistors into this chip.
I invested in Invesco QQQ, a fund that invests in the innovators of the NASDAQ 100, like you.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson. Now, buy the all-new 22 Tucson with 1.9% APR or get up to $500 cash back. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
This is significant because we match up FCS against FBS on this field today. And how about the FCS victories? So where are the upsets here in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I go straight to Montana, Washington now. Our super producer Stas Hall says that's not a big upset. To me, that is now. I mean, I love the Grizz and you know the program they have, and at home they're great. But going to Washington in the Pac-12, that's a big win for me, man.
Well, it looks like you get the last word because you have a microphone.
It's funny how that works, right? But, you know, if you're the Racers, you're saying, I've got a chance, man. Look at this. And it's not, if I'm not mistaken, they were 1-point favorite in this game.
Number of these teams we'll see in the FCS playoffs just after Thanksgiving. It's a field of 24, and they play for the championship that goes all the way to Frisco, Texas in early January. That's Scott Loeffler, the head coach of Bowling Green, in case you're not aware.
What I love about these guys, FCS has been doing playoff stuff forever. The FBI is just coming around to how good a playoff would do for you.
You and I will be busy next week. I'll be in Mount Pleasant, Michigan for Florida International.
And I'll be in Kalamazoo.
Ooh, Western Michigan, huge upset over Pitt today. How about that?
Yes, man. And San Jose's going to come in and try to get a road win. That should be a good one.
44-41 victory for the Broncos.
Wow.
Pitt beat Tennessee last week. We're 2-0 to start the year. Incomplete 2nd and 10 intended for Tyrone Broughton.
McDonald's been hot. He's been on target all day.
Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
I always wonder when a holding call is made, do you take the play, which is incomplete, 2nd and 10, or do you back them up 10?
Well, remember, holding's a spot foul, so they're going to back them, if I'm not mistaken, 10 yards from the spot of the ball. But generally, yeah, they always take that. They always take that penalty, and so that hold is probably at the line of scrimmage. That's easy. You're going to take 1st and 20 all day.
Racers have 3 timeouts remaining in the first half, so look for them to use those timeouts rather efficiently and quickly.
And I think
and
you
here
got to
comes
use
one right now.
Yeah, you got to use those. There's no question about it.
So that means the Falcons cannot play conservatively.
30-second charge timeout.
And maybe want to put the ball in the air to
that's their first.
Use their timeouts. They've got 3 remaining.
Well, let's not forget, you know, if it's an incomplete pass, that stops the clock for the Racers. So it's not an easy decision.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute.
Using these timeouts like this early allows the clock to be in the favor of the Racers, and when it's like that, you can still run the ball, right? So that gives them ability to be, you know, two-dimensional.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 35 seconds. 1 minute and 35 seconds.
That's two-dimensional, even though it's a 2-minute situation, especially if they can make them punt from backed up. So this is a very crucial situation for Bowling Green.
It's going to be a 2nd and 18 off the penalty and the short gain. Let's see how the Falcons play. It's an empty backfield for Matt McDonald. 3-man line of scrimmage, low snap, and he's got to eat it. Oh, man. Saw a number of low snaps last week for Bowling Green, but that one was dangerous because the ball was coming loose.
Murray State.
And now the Racers use a timeout and are likely going to get the ball back in great field position.
Yeah, this is disaster right now for Bowling Green. As you say, we saw a lot of these last week, and McDonald was able to handle them, but that was tough. Great job of just avoiding the catastrophe, right? They could have went right through his legs, been picked up by the defender, and ran for a touchdown. I like how he fell on the ball, too. Don't try to do too much. Just keep the possession. because right now a punt is not your worst enemy. So McDonald's got to be very careful. If they decide to throw the football, be very careful with this ball. If I'm Bowling Green, I'm running this ball. I got to force, okay, the team in white to use a timeout. I am not putting this ball in the air because an interception here would be horrific.
That's called a give-up play. Do you think that's appropriate, the description?
Not for this situation. I mean, I got to make them use that timeout.
Terrion Stewart running to the outside. Wants to stay in bounds if he can, and he did, just barely.
Yeah, you're right. And he's got to know not even to get close. Don't even let the official make that call. And he got lucky, and they winded the clock, but I'm not sure that was the right call.
Final charge timeout, Murray State.
Racers are out of timeouts, but they've got 1:22 remaining in the first half. They're going to get the football close to midfield or maybe beyond that. And already with some momentum with the last 10 points in this game.
Depending on where they can start this drive, the run game will still be available to them because we know in college football, you get it first down, the clock will stop. So first play of 2 minutes, be alert for draws and screens just to catch the defense slipping and pick yourself up an easy 10.
Take a look at the Valley, the Ohio Valley, and the scores so far this week. Missouri put 59 on SEMO. Tennessee, no problems with Tennessee Tech. Austin Peay leading 45-15 in the fourth. Later today, Illinois State, Eastern Illinois, and UT Martin and Northwestern State. Babers coached at Bowling Green and at Eastern Illinois. That's some guy named Garoppolo at Eastern Illinois he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
Naranjo from the end zone gets one to beyond the 50. And the field position is going to be awesome for the Racers. A short field to work with as he returns to the 42. And after Baum hit that 47-yarder, if they can get it, to the 30 or so, they got a chance to take another shot.
If you're Preston Rice, you got to remember that. I don't need to force anything. I don't need to be doing too much. All I need is a first down, maybe 15 yards to get a field goal here to take the lead in the half. So just be smart with the football. And I like the option of running the ball in this situation. A draw or a screen would be a really important call, in my opinion, because the defense is trying to rush the passer.
Racers have run it well on first down in this first half. Rice looks to throw. People covered for the moment to the outside receiver, Brooks. He's got the first down and then some. Lamartez Brooks with a catch, runs it down inside the 25 with a pickup of 20.
That's living dangerously right there. That ball came out late, but boy, he put some mustard on it though, right?
Yeah, and the spot actually be at the 26, so it's a pickup of 18. But now they're in Baum field goal range. Still have a chance to take a shot at the end zone.
You got to.
Rice with a look and in trouble. Can't give up a sack. Going to be a holding penalty called as he throws it away. That's a tough break. That's going to back him up 10.
Holding offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
DJ Jones committed the holding.
Starts with a power rush inside, and watch him try to come off of it. And there it is. There's the grab of the jersey. That's an easy call right there. Carl Brooks, nice job of bull rushing and trying to get off the block. And heck, if you're going to hold him like that, make it count. He was going to get a sack. I'm not saying I'm in favor of the hold, but you don't want your guy hitting your quarterback.
Jones is a backup right tackle. He weighs in at 326.
6'6", 326 too.
Just a humongous offensive line. Rice on first down. He's in trouble. They brought him down. Ball loose. Bowling Green's got it. How about this? Blaine Spires around the football, and the Falcons, as Rice is hurt, have regained the ball.
Nice job by Spires. Not only getting a sack, but getting the ball out. But that is a huge play. We talk about the size of this offensive line of the Racers. Well, there's a downside of that. That's called pass blocking.
Correction, I said Bowling Green had the ball, but that is not the call, as the ball remains in the hands of Rice, who appeared to have gotten hurt on the play.
Just a straight speed rush by Spires.
Since the clock was running, this
I thought
includes
Brooks
a 10
got
second
it, but
subtraction.
that's not
game clock operator.
That's not correct.
Please reset the game clock to 32 seconds. The clock will start on my signal.
Kept thinking, how did Brooks not get it? But still in the hands of Murray State. It's 2nd and a half mile.
I thought that ball was recovered by the defense.
Yeah, I did too.
I need to see that again.
It's going to be reviewed.
Yeah, my eyes are playing tricks on me maybe. I don't know.
We're talking to MAC officials today and replay officials. You have to call a timeout to challenge. So if a challenge is taking place here, a timeout is being used by Bowling Green.
And the rule
and they've got 3 timeouts remaining.
That's right. Let's take a look at this. Spires coming
Bowling
around the
Green
corner.
calls a 30-second charge timeout.
There's the strip. Ball's out. Still no possession near.
No, and there's Brooks coming in, 44. So who else got it? Maybe Rice did. I saw the ball come out again.
Did he pull it back?
Yeah.
No, Rice doesn't have it. Oh, wait, he did pull
Rice
it
got it back, yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
What a play right there by Rice.
They say the camera never lies. So.
My eyes lied to me. I'll tell you that right now.
Mine too. I called it inaccurately, but
here's another angle. I think we might see it even better from the backside. And he's going in there and pulling. There it is.
Good job.
Woo! And he shows it to the ref.
Yeah. Hey, I got it.
Wow, that was a heck of a play right there by the junior Preston Rice. I mean, just imagine now if they can somehow come away with points, that would be sort of the biggest play of the first half.
Fans don't have the benefit of replay, but it's obvious Rice did get it.
Yeah.
And time is being called.
Number 5 was the injured player. By rule, number 5 has to sit out of play.
So we go back to the backup quarterback, DJ Williams, for his second play on offense.
Well, here's what's crazy. I'm looking at Carl Brooks and saying, you're 6'4", 295. How did Rice get that ball from you?
I think he snuck it from him.
I mean, my goodness. Let's go, D-line. Don't let the quarterback take it from you.
But the problem for Murray State, ball back at the 47, long out of field goal range. Quarterback's going to keep a nice run here to the 37. He picked up 10. It would be about a 54-yarder for Baum. No timeouts remaining, though. They got to hurry.
I like the call from the redshirt freshman. And, whoa, here's a flag. And I think we've got some sort of physical altercation, and whoever gets this flag, it's a horrible penalty for their team.
Yes, it'd be a killer even on Bowling Green's side, because that would put Baum into field goal range.
I like the decision by the redshirt freshman. Don't try to read this thing out under pressure. Go ahead and take yourself some free yardage by running up in the middle of the field.
We'll maybe have an unsportsmanlike on number 62 of Murray State from the offensive side of the ball, and that's Austin Jones.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, Murray State, number 62.
Wow.
Pulling
That's
the
it?
player off the huddle.
Oh,
Since it's the reason that the clock is stopped, this includes a 10-second subtraction as well. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 7 seconds. Thank you.
You know, this drive, Tioka started at the 27. This series of downs at the 27 of Bowling Green.
well, I didn't see a whole lot of punching or hitting. I did see a little bit of taunting with the wave of the hand. Either way, that's a horrible play. That's a very selfish play that hurts your football team.
Racers have no timeouts left, and the quarter, with the clock moving, is going to end. So Bowling Green gets a break.
That is the end of the half.
10-second runoff, right?
Yep.
I mean,
no chance to run a play.
Goodness gracious, you talking about a teachable moment for your young football team? That certainly was it, and that's a junior. That's one of your guys that you know has some experience, have been around. Terrible play right there.
A break for Scott Leffler and Bowling Green. Most interesting ends of the first half. Falcons led 10-0. Racers have evened it up at 10. About to hit our 20-minute halftime break on Homecoming 2021 here in Ohio.
You packed a record 1.1 trillion transistors into this chip.
I invested in Invesco QQQ, a fund that invests in the innovators of the NASDAQ 100, like you.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ.
The human body has more than 650 muscles. The only one that never rests is the heart. Maybe that's why true courage never rests either. Advent Health is a proud supporter of the incredible inside us all.
We are back on homecoming. Entertaining game so far. Knotted at 10 at halftime between Murray State and Bowling Green. And with Tyoka Jackson, the former Penn State star, I'm Jim Barber. Weird ending to the first half where the Racers had the ball near the red zone and then suddenly dropped 20, 25 yards on offense.
Yeah, with unforced errors. I mean, you got to finish that half off. You got a chance to go in with the lead. FCS versus FBS. Unforced errors, I guarantee that locker room has a lot of loud voices coming at those players right now.
Yes. Any feel at this point where the momentum lies in the game?
Not at the end of that. I mean, if they would have scored, yeah, then I would say the Racers have the momentum. Right now, I think it's a 0-0 ball game. I think both teams are going to come out and play the way they want to play. Both teams want to run it. Obviously, Murray State has an advantage passing the ball, but right now, that quarterback, Preston Rice, is getting heated up too. So I think we have a tremendous second half ahead of us.
Well, you mentioned earlier in the game those punches that are taken from the O-line to the D-line of Bowling Green, and maybe the fact that as we get to the fourth quarter, that's going to pay dividends.
No doubt about it. And that offensive line is heated up for the Racers. They've got some running lanes. That would continue. We'll see if those body punches slows down the pursuit of this Bowling Green defense. But the scoreboard, most importantly, is where the Racers wanted. They can keep running the football. They hope to take it in the fourth quarter just like this.
Much at stake for the Racers, who have not beaten an FBS team since 1984. That was Louisville, back when Louisville was an independent. Bowling Green, meantime, looking for its first win in the last 2 years.
You packed a record 1.1 trillion transistors into this chip.
I invested in Invesco QQQ, a fund that invests in the innovators of the NASDAQ 100, like you.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ.
Save an additional $1,000 on your next Greenway Ford. It's our no-compromise promise. Never settle for anything less than the vehicle you want. Visit greenwayford.com and save an extra $1,000 off your special order today. Shop the Greenway Ford Advantage.
Each other 3 times. I hear that your aunt almost had an impact on one of our games.
Aunt Katie in West Virginia, who worked in the post office, and she was probably in her 70s, maybe almost 80. She used to send me a game plan every week, you know, when I was a coach at LSU. And it would just be a postcard type thing, and it would have tips to win the game. So when we're getting ready to play you guys, and she puts in her note, you need to go no huddle against these guys because this radar defense is going to mess your quarterback up. I just like, you know, so what? We'll be able to handle it.
No one behind David. He'll put it up. He's hit and dropped. Too many men to block.
So Rohan gets sacked 9 times in the game, throws 3 picks. And she called me, you know, the next day and said, I told you to go no huddle. You didn't listen.
You got to listen to the aunt.
That's right. Of course, you guys did a good job on offense.
Manning to the end zone. Touchdown!
There's some pretty proud dad and brothers and family and mother in the stands tonight over Eli's performance.
You know, I actually told your dad if Eli would have came to LSU, we'd have won 3 national championships.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
We have return. Good-looking crowd today, mostly students on hand right now at the break with a score 10-10. Jim Barber and Tyoka Jackson. Let's review, in case you've missed it, what happened here in the first half. Bowling Green's defense, which was significant last week in the loss to South Alabama, comes through here when Brock Horn gets a tip and the interception.
We talked about Bowling Green taking advantage of big play opportunities, and that's exactly what happened right here. Not only get the pick, but then they capitalize on it on the goal line.
As Patterson rushes in, and it's 7-0. Add a field goal to that, and it was 10-0. But back comes Rice and DeMonte Witherspoon.
Witherspoon is running hard today, falling forward. That's exactly what happened on that play, and we'll see more of that going into the fourth quarter.
And then Matt McDonald trying to pick on McKee, but McKee has been pretty solid in that defensive secondary.
Yeah, Roden's got to go up and get that football, protect his quarterback. He could have had a really nice reception had he done that.
What do you make of this game? A good defensive game or a poorly played offensive game?
I think the defenses have played well. I think the offenses have taken advantage of certain opportunities that they got. Saved the last opportunity for the Racers to score at the end of that half. But I think both teams are feeling like I said at the half, that they can continue to play their type of football. The scoreboard is basically 0-0. It's who's going to execute without the mental errors in the second half that's going to determine the winner of this game.
Both teams, by the way, are back on the field and getting ready for quarters 3 and 4. Let's take a look at the Mid-American Conference on week 3. Buffalo put up a great fight today and ran the football for 260 yards, Tioka, and still lost to ranked Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, that Coastal Carolina team can play. So that obviously bodes well for Buffalo. Certainly you got to sort of defend your home turf there. They would have liked to have gotten that win. It would have been a signature win for that team, but they've got more games to come in the conference especially.
Michigan had 8 rushing touchdowns in the win over Northern Illinois. You will see Western next week, and how about that win over Pitt?
Wow.
As Corey Crooms, 8 catches of 161 yards and a touchdown. Kent State led Iowa 7-0. Second quarter now trailing 30-7. UMass is putting up a fight against Eastern Michigan, but Eastern will likely win it. And Miami, Ohio, which played well against Minnesota earlier this year, took care of LIU today 42-7. Akron also picks up a win. Toledo, well, we mentioned the Rockets had a chance to beat Notre Dame last week before losing. And unfortunately for the Cardinals and Mike New, not a factor today out west in Laramie against Wyoming.
Wyoming is a tough place to be. I've been out to Laramie. Okay, they got a great culture right there. That is tough sledding for Ball State to go out there and try to get a win in a culture like that with fans like that.
And Central Michigan in Death Valley tonight against LSU at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. I'll get a chance to see the Chips next week in their game against FIU Florida International. About to start the third quarter in a 10-10 game. What will Matt McDonald do to attack this Murray State defense and the secondary, which has played well? Some answers are coming up.
The human body has more than 650 muscles. The only one that never rests is the heart. Maybe that's why true courage never rests either. Advent Health is a proud supporter of the incredible inside us all.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
This is the final home game of the month for Bowling Green, on the road next week in Minneapolis against the Gophers, and then in Kent, Ohio versus Kent State as they get into conference play in the MAC. So let's look ahead to the second half, and what do you think will matter? Maybe a couple of keys or so.
I think running the football. Both teams have to be efficient at it. You know, it's one thing, Bowling Green wants to run the football. Murray State needs to run the football. So take that for what it's worth. Both teams wants to establish it, but Murray State has to make it happen for them to win this game. Bowling Green needs to be efficient with the run game because that would open up the pass game. So that would be one thing to look for. And we talked about mistakes. There were some mistakes made towards the end of that half that were crucial for both teams. Penalties, pre-start penalties, holding penalties, and unforced errors. That's going to be something to watch as we move forward.
This is a rebuilding plan for Scott Loeffler, but how significant is this game to win for him in this rebuild?
Listen, there's something that Frank Gans, the great special teams coach, taught me and my teammates: confirming validity. You go out and you work hard and You listen to the message and you go and you go and you go, but at some point you got to confirm what you're being taught works. And for his players, he just wants something good to happen for him. He needs a win to get them to understand that, hey, what we're doing is sound. It will get you to where you want to go. Just keep doing it. And so I'm telling you, yeah, this is not a conference game, but he needs this win for his football team, not for his job or anything like that, but just for the confidence of his football team before he gets into MAC play.
Zane Weber's the kicker for Murray State. He will boot it. Bowling Green won the toss to start the game and elected to defer, so it defended in the first half. Now it will receive to start the second half. And a little pooch kick.
Interesting.
Fair catch being called at the 28. Well, Christian Sims, who doubles as a tight end for this team, made the catch.
The receiving team made a fair catch signal. By rule, the ball is placed at the spot of the catch.
It's good to have your good hands people up front, huh?
That's right. And I'd like to see them get Christian Sims involved in the offense more. He is a matchup nightmare. 6'4", 240, but can run. I don't think there's a linebacker on the field for the Racers that can cover him one-on-one. We saw him last week expose the defense. He needs to get involved this week.
Running game of Bowling Green, 16 carries for 44 in the first half. We'll start it off with a pass, which is even better than the run. 88, Christian Sims. Well, didn't you just say something about him?
I'm telling you, super producer Stas Hall has our mics piped into Terry Malone's ear because, watch it. Again, this is not rocket science, guys. He's a big guy who can run. And look at him run away from the defense. He is a weapon. Whenever you have a tight end, that is an extra guy that the defense has to deal with.
Terrion Stewart trying to sneak past the defensive line there and still going with the football, but he didn't gain much. He's not very big, but they're finding him today.
He runs hard, too. The first guy rarely tackles him because of his low center of gravity. And Darnell Victor almost went for a ride, but that's good defense. Watch the edge. Watch Victor scrape. Good job of playing off the block. Now, that's not how you teach tackling, right? But sometimes you get in bad body position. You got to do whatever you got to do to get him to the ground.
Penalty flag on the play. Toss out of the backfield. First down, and maybe a whole lot more. Teron Keith is headed to the end zone. Now the question is, will it stand up?
Boy, oh boy. That's either a procedure penalty or lining up off sides on the defense.
Big moment here.
How about the play by Teron Keith, though? He's exciting with the ball in his hands.
Legal shift. Offense. Two players moving and did not get set. That 5-yard penalty is enforced from the previous spot.
If you're the offensive coordinator, Terry Malone, are you wondering whether the shift had anything to do with the pass and the run?
You know it doesn't. And this is what we talked about, though, right? The mistakes, pre-snap penalties, unforced errors. And I didn't see the second guy shifting. I saw two different guys moving at two different times, but I didn't see two guys moving at the same time. I'm not sure about that one. What an outstanding catch and run by Teron Keith, the redshirt freshman from DeLand, Florida. He's got some speed. They got some really good young backs. And if I am Bowling Green Scott Loeffler, I'm a little perplexed about how that flag came out.
Well, circle that play because it will become very important as we get along here in the second half. McDonald with a bullet to the 45-yard line. Ball caught, pick up a 6. And it's Christian Sims now being targeted here in the second half.
Why not? I mean, I think they went in and realized we got to get the ball to 88. Yeah, we got some playmakers on the outside, but we've got a hot quarterback in the middle of the field, hasn't been tested yet. And that guy is the test maker right there. If you don't have people on the inside of that defense, in between the hashes that can cover, and I'm not saying that Murray State doesn't, but if you don't have guys that can cover, he's going to expose them.
Now it's 3rd and 5. Official spot at the 44. 3-man front for Murray State. They'll rush 4. Trying to bring somebody off the edge. McDonald trying to escape and throwing. Got a first down. Got a whole lot more to go with it. Matt McDonald kept that play alive. He was nearly swallowed up in the backfield. Was able to find Christian Sims for a catch and run all the way down to about the 30.
When you got a guy at the Y is the tight end, he's a gem for you. But this is all about Matt McDonald. Look at the poise, look at the legs, and look at the throw. on the run, back across his body, but it wasn't late with it, and he didn't put air under it. Watch him zip this pass. That's how you throw it back across the middle. And number 88, folks, I'm just telling you, he's got NFL ability.
They love to run jet sweeps on this team. And this one nearly went to the house. Jalen Embry with perhaps his first carry of the night. From the 30 to the 14 and a pickup of 16.
We haven't seen a lot of the jet sweep action, but you're right. They love to run it because it tests the eyes of the defense. And when defenders begin to look around and see a lot, they run slower. And so now you run the jet sweep, and then you fake it off the next play and run the sister play off of it. So right now, the entire playbook is open for Terry Malone, and he's using it.
Sending Keith in motion, faking the jet sweep. McDonald throwing out of the backfield. Nice safe pass. Ball caught by Tyrone Broden. They'll spot him inside the 10, so it'll be second down.
And there's the sister play we talked about. You're effective with the jet sweep. You get big-time yardage for it. Then you come back with the same look. The defense has to respect it. And then you get a positive play on the outside. Right now, the team in white doesn't really know what's coming because the execution from the team in the orange pants.
Strong opening drive by the Falcons. Will be faced with a 3rd and 5, just moments into the second half.
Jim, right now, if you're Murray State, yeah, they moved the ball. And they've made some plays, really nice plays in the execution, but you got one down right now. You got to play defense for one down, keep them out of the end zone, and make them attempt a field goal against a kicker who, yeah, he hit his last one, but he has struggled, right?
Yes.
Forcing a field goal is a huge play right now for the Murray State defense.
Jason Patterson, you mentioned he's a bigger back in from Jacksonville, Florida. Now in the backfield with McDonald on 3rd and 5. Play clock at 2. McDonald gets the play off, got a man to the outside. Good open field tackle.
That's good defense.
Pending on the spot, looks like it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, that's Kavion Holmes. You can't really ask for much better defense, but I think it was slightly better offense because you're going to see a reach of the ball. Watch at the end of the play. Nice job of reaching out and grabbing it. But watch him reach that ball. It's a slight reach, got it across.
Back to the running game, Terrion Stewart. Close to the goal line. A couple of Falcons are down, but everybody for the moment appears to be okay. By the way, it's Kevon Kroom who made that catch for Bowling Green and got the first down. And right now Stewart a little slow to get back to the huddle. 2nd and goal from the 1. How about this? I formation, always at the goal line. Good setup. Just need a yard. Stewart not going anywhere.
That's great defense. That's a bunch of guys on defense that have pride and don't want that ball to get scored on, especially in the run. And see, this is where having an offense that runs the football in practice every day gives your defense an advantage. I promise you, they see this every day. They see I formation, they see power running every day. So this is nothing new to play really good, sound goal line defense.
McDonald over center, biggest play of the game so far.
Keeping the ball in McDonald's hands.
Looking toward the end zone and running. Can he make it? He will. Touchdown.
Football can be very simple if you allow it to be. Let your playmakers make the play. Allow number 3 to make the decisions. He's on fire today. Hasn't made any bad decisions. And that's another great one. Faking with the pump fake, but he knew as soon as he got outside, he had no forced defender, that he was going to run that football. Excellent job of decision making by your senior quarterback. Excellent job of play calling by Terry Malone. Don't overthink yourself. Allow your best players to make the plays.
Nate Needham with the 17th point. Falcons back on top. Ben McDonald just avoiding the rush of Green, number 47, getting around the edge into the end zone.
Aflac policyholders have been paid $37 billion directly. That's a lot of money.
Did somebody say money?
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac is ready for prime time.
Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
With a Honda in your garage, every summer adventure leads to another. Get an incredible summer offer on a new Honda, only at the Honda Summer Sales Event.
Ready, set, go.
As Matt scored moments ago on a scamper on a big play on third down. Dad, as we mentioned, longtime quarterback at USC, played the National Football League for a number of years. There are 2 quarterbacks on this team that have fathers that play in the NFL. The backup quarterback, George, his dad, Jeff. You were a teammate with him with the Falcons at a number of seasons, including a few with the Indianapolis Colts. And there's a look at Mr. George.
Yeah, his dad, I was just a young rookie on the practice squad, but what I saw was one of the great throwers of the football in the history of the league. Jeff George could spin it, and his release, only thing I saw better was my other former teammate, Dan Marino. Other than Dan Marino, the release of the ball and the prettiness of the spiral would be Jeff George in the history of the game.
Jaden, by the way, spent a little time in Alabama, now with Bowling Green as a backup quarterback here. He's a sophomore. Falcons have regained a lead 17-10. And this drive will start once again for Murray State from its own 25-yard line. During the break, you were saying how good a drive that was for Bowling Green and how necessary it is when you win the coin toss and elect to defer that you start the second half by scoring.
That's right, and it sends a message to your team that we're here to win this game. They're beginning to run the football. You see the play calling is becoming a little more imaginative because the running is working.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 3 of the kicking team. That 15-yard penalty is enforced from the 25-yard line. That is his first. That counts toward disqualification.
And the rule
first
is,
and 10.
It's Art Brown, our MAC official and referee. The rule is, as you take a look at Taylor.
Why? What's that doing? How is that going to help you win this game?
Well, it's got to be on the conversation because he didn't get a push in there.
No, but
assuming it's number 3.
Right, it's some taunting going on, right?
Okay.
And they're cracking down on it. Right?
Sure.
You saw the other team get a taunting call when their offensive lineman. It's silly. You're looking for your first win. You don't need it. That's not going to help. 40-yard line, Jim. Excuse me.
Sure. Takes the football from the 25 to the 40. Witherspoon is tackled for loss. Flag on the play.
We said that penalties would be an issue in this second half. Unforced errors, silly penalties. The team that executes without hurting themselves is going to have the best chance to win. And right now, both teams are doing a little bit of self-injury here.
Bowling Green had 57 yards of penalties in the first half, 30 for Murray State.
Holding, offense, number 67. That penalties declined. The result of the play, second down.
From the left tackle, Jacob Fry. We thought about the final drive of the first half of Murray State. What a disaster that was. This is not a good start to the second half either.
Don't beat yourself. First rule of winning is you can't beat yourself.
Well, tennis is not the only game that has unforced errors, right?
Right.
There are a few here in football, certainly. Rice on first down, setting up an inside screen, and that's going nowhere. Up to make the tackle, number 5, Cy Dabney, who had a strong first half.
Yeah, he's been very active. And as we see that they're making a concentrated effort to get blockers on number 23, Darren Anders. He's been very quiet, but the other guys are stepping up. And we talked about being sound on the perimeter. Murray State likes to get the ball in the perimeter and make their big plays. So far, so good on the perimeter of this defense.
Yes, surprisingly, Dabney leads Bowling Green in tackles in this game. He's got 4. Darren Anders with 3. 3rd and 13. Rice looking for the first down pickup. And is it caught? No, ball dropped. Right in the hands of Malik Honeycutt, who should have had it.
That's another unforced error. There's no reason to drop that ball. I love the poise from Preston Rice. Threw a very catchable ball. Good route coming across. He drifted a little bit, but that's fine. Catch that ball. Come on. Now, there's no defender harassing you there. He knows it. He's sick. That's a missed opportunity for this Racer offense because you'd have had the ball on the plus side of the 50, 1st and 10.
And that means Lewis Halton is on to punt for Murray State. Line of scrimmage to 37. Got close to blocking. He is down now. Flags on the play. Well, last week, Bowling Green had a pick 6 and a blocked punt for 2 points. Didn't get to the
There's
kicker,
no
though.
foul for running into the kicker. 1st and 10.
Halton went down, but didn't
There's no
get the
foul
call.
for running the kicker because the ball was tipped.
And because the ball was tipped.
Wow, and I saw the ball move. Yes, that is the right call. Excellent job by the officials to get together and talk themselves through it.
I want to say that was Cy Dabney and special teams that got a hold of the ball.
Boy, he's showing up big time this game.
And good field position now for the Falcons from their own 37 with 8 and change remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bowling Green regaining lead here in the 2nd half on a touchdown run by Matt McDonald.
I know this is still early in the game, partner, but this is a very crucial drive for the Murray State defense. They have got to find a way to get this team off the field with a punt.
Another flag on the play.
Or a turnover. Turnover helps too.
Sure. This time the line judge threw up the laundry.
Another penalty. Don't know if it's unforced or not.
Legal shift.
Unforced.
On the offense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So what's happening here? The one that negated Teron Keith's long catch and run for touchdown was an illegal shift as well.
Hey, I don't think that illegal shift was the proper call, but guess what? It was called. I'd like to see this one again. I don't know. But you just can't have pre-snap penalties. I mean, there's no reason for it.
Mid-American Conference officiating crew here for this game between FCS and FBS opponents. About halfway through the 3rd, ball loose, and McDonald going to have to swallow it up at the 27-yard line.
Look, Bowling Green has a true walk-on freshman at center, right? And we said, I've never seen a true walk-on start, and here's the last play. Let's see if we can see the illegal shift. You should be seeing 2 guys moving.
You got alignment, no? Does that count?
No. Well, but the other guy's going lateral. He can get in a 3-point stance. Yeah, I'm not sure of that one. Now, you know, maybe I'm not up on the rule, but to me, that is not an illegal shift penalty. But again, you got a true freshman center, right? Not a lot of football being played. You're seeing the snaps come low.
McDonald out of the backfield, gets rid of it at the last moment. Intended for Christian Sims, who he has found as a favorite receiver here in the 2nd half. Now it's 3rd and 20 in the penalties, setting them back this drive. Take a look at their drive chart. Started with a touchdown on a short field off a pick, then a punt, then a field goal on a 14-play drive. Obviously their best. Since then, a pick, a punt, and then a strong drive to start the 2nd half. 11 rushes or 11 plays, 71 yards.
So it's sort of up and down every other drive. It's not shocking to me with such a young, inexperienced team. And it looks like this might be another down as you see a holding is going to get called against multiple players in the backfield.
McDonald is very close to picking up the 1st down, but that's not going to matter. He carried for 20 yards. And look how frustrated he is off the play, and he knows how youthful this group is, and none the same.
Personal foul, shot block, offense, number 72 and 28. That penalty enforced half the distance to the goal line, 3rd down.
Cade Zimmerly, 72.
2 true freshmen combining on this. Chop block means there's one guy engaging high and one guy going low, and you see the back now going low as the center, Cade Zimmerly, is engaged. Here it is right here, this very dangerous play. He comes off, and look, it's a bang-bang deal. Did he even hit him? I'm not even sure he made contact. He went for the block. I know the ref is anticipating.
So the penalty was on Patterson and Zimmerly,
yeah,
right?
they 2 true freshmen combining for a big penalty as it sets back this offense.
3rd and 34. So not much is going to happen on this play, and Bowling Green, as Murray State did to close out the 1st half, is going backwards.
3rd and Detroit is
yes.
what that was.
Look at this, 92 yards of penalties in this game. And 92 a game, 2nd worst in the MAC coming in.
Both teams had penalty issues coming in.
So is that a youth thing?
It is a youth thing. There's no question about it. But it's also a discipline thing. You got to know in tight ball games, just do it the way you're taught. But we talked about Murray State having to show up big defensively. This all counts. Punting from backed up. This is a great job by the defense.
Aranjo, good punt. Carrying all the way to the 42-yard line. It's a punt of 43 yards and no return. 6 to go in the third quarter. Still, this game very much up for grabs.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
The human body has more than 650 muscles. The only one that never rests is the heart. Maybe that's why true courage never rests either. Advent Health is a proud supporter of the incredible inside us all.
Came into this game as the leader in touchdowns in rushing in the country. They have held him in check, running the ball 5 times for a yard and 5 of 12 throwing the ball. I wonder how much Rice will be a factor, though, when we get to the fourth quarter, and will he have to pitch it downfield to have a chance?
Well, he's still a playmaker. That hasn't changed, right? And you know, you're still in this ball game. It's only a 7-point game. They're fine. They got outstanding field position. But what an outstanding play by Davon Ferguson on that last one. I cannot let that play go.
Number 7.
Number 7. This guy is really jumping off your field and making a terrific amount of plays. Such an amazing player because, again, he's a special teams player. He's in a return game. He can cover, and, boy, he can support that run.
Not sure if a helmet came off, and one of the Falcons had to head to the sidelines by NCAA rule. That's the case. That it's the offensive guard, Matt Fortner. Check that, Anthony Hawkins, defensive lineman.
Well, look, I mean, they had an opportunity with this field position, and they're not taking advantage of it. Now you're looking at 3rd and 10, which is like kryptonite to this offense, but just a little bit off on that out route to your tight end, Jake Satoff, and that puts this team behind the sticks.
Rice is now 5 of 13. That's a bit surprising.
Give a lot of credit to Eric Lewis. They knew who they had to contain coming into this ball game. They've got some playmakers. There's no question about it. But this offense starts and ends with number 5, and they've done a great job of containing him.
Rice going to be short of the sticks, even if the ball is caught, and it is in midfield. Now a decision to be made by head coach Dean Hood on 4th and 2.
I think you got to punt this ball.
Really?
Yeah, I do, because you're playing the field position game right now. You're not in a hurry to win this game in the third quarter. You want to take this into the fourth quarter somewhere where it is now, 1-possession game. No need to give this offense the ball at midfield. Let's punt them backed up, pin them, play good defense, and restart this thing again.
And Lewis Halton will do just that. Unless there's a fake. Gets rid of it. Ball will bounce at the 20. Not a particularly long kick. Just 28 yards.
Media timeout.
4:38 remaining in the third. Bowling Green back to work in a moment.
Aflac policyholders have been paid $37 billion directly. That's a lot of money.
Did somebody say money?
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac is ready for prime time.
Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson.
Now, buy the all-new 22 Tucson with 1.9% APR or get up to $500 cash back. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
I'll say plethora of games. Partner here will be up in Kalamazoo, Derek Jeter country for Western Michigan. San Jose State, Western with a huge upset today over Pitt. I'll see Central Michigan against FIU. Back to live action, and McDonald with a rocket with a pickup 11 and a first down to bench, I believe. Or is that Broden?
Yeah,
it's
that's
like Tyrone Broden got it.
I mean, he really reached out and got it. That's that catch radius we were talking about. 6'4", 200-pound sophomore with long arms. He's got a really bright future. That's great execution right there on the slant. Or post, excuse me.
Yep, and to the 33 of the Falcons, protecting a 7-point lead. McDonald looked to his left, throws, got a man wide open. Levi Gazarek with a catch. He is close to the marker, and now McDonald starting to open things up a little bit.
Yeah, Levi's a young backup tight end, just a freshman. But what you saw there was Matt McDonald go through his progressions, and that's an outstanding job by the offensive line, giving him time to scan that field and get that ball out.
Now, we mentioned Western's upset, and on cue, Dr. John Steinbrecher, the commissioner, popped in our booth. Happy about the 44-41 Western win today, but said we need more of those.
Right.
And for the record, now 2 Power 5 victories this year. Wins over Power 5 teams as Northern beat Georgia Tech, and today win by Western over the Panthers.
Yeah, that's big. 2 wins against Power 5 for a conference that always seem to be fighting for respect when they shouldn't be. I mean, they've got a tremendous history, and they're a very good conference that produces NFL players on the regular.
McDonald will keep, run out of bounds just past midfield. Pretty good coverage on the defensive side for Murray State, as Matt didn't see anybody open, and he swallowed up the ball.
Yeah, it was, but again, he gets 5 yards or 4 yards because of the decision making. Young quarterbacks need to understand, take what the defense gives you. And sometimes they give you a 4-yard scramble. You don't have to play Johnny Unitas and try to make every throw against tight coverage. Sometimes you just get positive yards and stay ahead of the sticks.
Second down, play fake McDonald. Nobody to throw to for the moment. Now he's got a man. High school teammate Austin Osborne.
You called it. Flex on him again, 18. You called it high school teammate. That was Sandlot football, okay? Watch Austin run a 12-yard curl, okay? But then he sees his quarterback scramble, and he runs with him and creates the opening throwing lane for his quarterback. Those are 2 guys that are on the same page because they've been doing it since the crib.
Well said, and the Sandlot play nails 33 yards. Back to Patterson, straight ahead. He's a powerful runner. And the passing game is starting to open up the running game a bit.
And what do we mean by Sandlot football? That means you got guys who have the confidence of doing the X's and O's the way your offensive coordinator Terry Malone teaches it, but then when things break down, you're not robots. You don't just stand there and get tackled. You then improvise. As long as everyone's on the same page doing the same thing, you can make a big play out of it.
In the red zone now from the 9-yard line on 2nd and 4. Under 2 minutes, third quarter. Patterson straight ahead. At the front 4 of Murray State there to meet him.
That was Maurice Green. That was a tremendous play by Green of stacking the offensive lineman, disengaging and making a play all by himself. The entire team in white could have been on the sidelines with 47 making a play by himself because of the penetration and disengaging of the blocker. That's a nice play by a backup defensive end.
Yes. Last week, head coach Scott Loeffler said that when he went to a gadget play, threatening to make it a 2-score game against South Alabama was a mistake on his part. Here, they settle for a field goal. They'll be up 2 scores with a minute to go in the third quarter. McDonald would prefer a touchdown, though. And when he's in trouble and he's sacked. Back near the 20-yard line. Still field goal range, however, for Needham as Levi Matheny came up from his will linebacker spot.
One of the few mistakes here. This is where the ball's got to come out. This is great initial pressure. Okay, now you're out of pocket. Just throw the ball away. Okay, we don't need to hold on to the ball and take a sack there because it's deflating for your offensive line. The offensive line has played well. And now you're backing up your kicker. It's not horrific, but I'd like to see that ball being thrown out of bounds and make this an easy chip shot for your kicker.
Nate Needham has one already from 43. This will be from 36. From the left hash and a chance to go up 10 again. So it's just a handful of seconds remaining in the third quarter, back to a 2-score lead. What did Scott Loeffler tell us during the week? He says, I learned a little bit from taking a chance in that second game. He said, if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't. And of course here, they settle for the right call, line up a field goal, and now they're back by 2 scores.
Well, to me, that's a sign of a really good coach who can admit his mistakes, because I guarantee you, if he said it to us, he probably said it to his players. And when you, as a player, when you hear your coach be honest and vulnerable with you like that, that just brings the team closer. It makes you trust them. It's not him against us. We're in this together. So I appreciated hearing that from as a former player, because it resonated with me. But, those are things you learn from, right? He's going to get better as a coach. Every game he puts it in his resume and learns from it.
This is a game Bowling Green really expects to get, because 2 tough games on the road coming up, then home to Akron, up to the Chicago area against Northern. They'll see down the stretch Buffalo and Toledo and Eastern Michigan. First time today or tonight, a returnable kick. And so with seconds remaining, Racers will start beyond the 25-yard line on the return by Thompson.
Murray State's got to get this run game going. Still the third quarter. It's not too late. Everything you do starts with the running game, both with your backs and your quarterback. The offensive line is still big. I guarantee they didn't lose weight, all right, in the halftime locker room. They still have the advantage. Let's get them going again, and then that will start to open things up for you.
Rice has had a subpar game throwing it, and he has done nothing running it yet. Last play, third quarter, barring a penalty. And that is a tackle for loss. Darren Anders, remember him?
I do. And the tackle tally is starting to mount up. He just hasn't made a whole bunch of impactful plays, but that was one of them.
Fourth quarter coming up. Anders, one of the outstanding performers in the first 2 games here on Homecoming's had a modest afternoon, but Matt McDonald's picked up on offense, and Davon Ferguson, how good has he been on defense?
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Schedule, something unusual about it. The fact is they'll play SEMO, Southeast Missouri, and Eastern Illinois twice in a season. There's only one FBS team that has that. Rice is down back at the 10-yard line. Horn and Anders into attack.
Look at Horn. That's just a straight blitz, unblocked. And I think number 18, Rodney Castile, missed his block. And when you miss your block, you're going to see a quarterback looking like that, trying to figure out what happened. But we've mentioned number 34, Brock Horn, many times in this game. He's showing up as a backup defensive a linebacker, excuse me.
Holding defense, number 7. That 10-yard penalty is enforced from the previous spot.
There's a huge break.
Second down. Correction, 4th down.
Because instead of the ball being pinned back up against the goalpost, ball will be moved close to the 35-yard line, I believe.
The official said 4th down. Now,
down marker shouldn't move, should it?
No, I think that should stay 3rd.
Correction, it is 2nd down.
2nd down. Okay. We'll get it right.
Well, the yard marker says third, so we split the difference, I think.
I think they were trying to move it
and
forward.
now it's second.
Yeah. Okay, well, another penalty, another mistake. Both teams continue to make them. So far, Bowling Green has been able to overcome theirs a little bit more than the Racers have.
New Mexico State, one of the few teams that's played an opponent twice in a season. When you play Hawaii, I believe you're allowed an extra game. So the season this year in FBS play against Hawaii allows for a game on the mainland or in Hawaii and then back here in the States without counting against your number.
Interesting.
Third and 1.
Huge play here.
Yep. Back to the running back. And that'll be enough for a first down. Falcons get excited about making a stop, but the outside judge says first down to the 37. Let's move the chains.
That was Castile one-on-one in the hole versus Anders. And I'm not going to say he won it because all he needed was about a half a yard. So it's good enough. But the meeting in the hole was nice. A little sugar huddle right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice block. Oh, that's a pancake. They'll take that.
First down from the 37. That's the backup QB, I believe, carried the football on that play as Rice returns.
There's Darren Anderson making another play. And if he did not make that, there would have been some room to run because the offensive line had pushed that defensive line off the ball, but they didn't get off onto Anders, and he comes up and makes the play as he should for just a 2-yard gain.
DJ Williams got a yard on the play. He's back to the sidelines. Rice is back in the game with 4 receivers. Ball loose. Rice somehow comes out of it. Still in trouble. Still throws it away.
Well, he's living dangerous there with stopping and throwing that ball away after
There's
the punt.
no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside. Ball made it beyond the line of scrimmage.
That's on the quarterback. I think that snap was pretty good. He just sort of muffed the snap, and now it's Sandlot football, and he's lucky there he didn't get hit when he stopped right there.
And a smart play to throw it away. Otherwise, he's sacked for a loss of 7 or 8.
Yeah, but boy, I'm telling you, that backside was coming.
Oh, yes.
3rd and long. Again, we've said it all day, this is not where the Racer offense wants to be. Let's see if they can find a way to convert this.
Must get the football to its own 47. Into coverage. Double coverage broken up.
Well, it was an almost pretty good throw into coverage. Watch him get him over the underneath defender into the hands of the receiver, but watch Dabney come back and knock that ball out. As a DB, you have to finish the play. Separate the ball from the wide receiver. Look at that. Great job by Dabney by not going through the receiver's back, going over the top and knocking that ball down.
How about the stretch by 21 Marcus Shepard, too?
Yeah, he got his hand on it as well. And it still was really good concentration by the receiver, Brooks, but better play by the defense. Another penalty.
Sometimes the penalties resemble a first season game
Ball start.
as opposed to week
Offense,
3.
Number 19, that 5-yard penalty.
Dean Hood, the head coach of Murray State, would like an explanation. He's not buying it. And he's talking to the referee now, Art Brown.
Well, they had 8 penalties last week against Cincinnati, and I mean, certainly you won't make an excuse, but Cincinnati is an excellent ball club, right? And they got a lot of athletes, and sometimes when you're outmanned, you're going to see more penalties, but this penalty thing is an issue for both teams.
Sure. Good punt, though. Inside the 20. Falcons with the football, protecting a 2-score lead with 12:39 remaining in the football game. Embry on the return, and now Bowling Green could use a long drive to ice the game.
Media timeout.
Aflac policyholders have been paid $37 billion directly.
That's a lot of money.
Did somebody say money?
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac is ready for prime time.
Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
Celebrating 35 years of performance with our most thrilling lineup.
Don't miss limited time offers at the Acura Summer of Performance event going on now.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the RDX.
How huge would that have been?
31-29. Back to live action. Bowling Green protecting a 10-point lead, but not sitting on the ball, which is wise. On the toss to Austin Osborne, out of bounds for the Falcons.
How productive has he been this year? That's a guy who only had one career catch coming into the season.
Bowling Green has lost its last 10. Last season was half a season, just 6 Mid-American Conference games in November and December. Went winless there, so you have to go back to November 2nd of 2019. And if you're planning to rebuild a program, this is one that Scott Loeffler's got to get.
You need it. You need it at home. Homecoming.
2nd and 2, enough for the first down. That means you can eat up a couple of more minutes with 12 minutes remaining in the game.
If I'm Murray State, I'm looking for leaders now. We need some guys who aren't scoreboard watching, but trying to make plays to give their team a chance. This game is not over.
Got to strip the ball, I would think. That might be significant.
That would help. A turnover would be huge for sure. But no matter what, I've got to find a way to get a stop and get off the field.
See how much of the clock, the play clock, is going to be utilized by Bowling Green here as it dips under 10. McDonald from the shotgun with a strike. And on first down, this goes for 8. Kevon Kroom, that's his second catch of the game. Right now the game is in Bowling Green's hands, certainly.
And it's because the ball is in number 3's hands.
Yeah.
Mac McDonald right now is in perfect rhythm. And if you don't get a rush on this guy and he's allowed to stand in the pocket and scan your defense, you can forget about it.
Chance to pick up another first down, use some more clock. That's exactly what's happening. Run or throw for big yards on first down, then hand the ball off to Patterson on second down.
Let's give some love to this Bowling Green offensive line. We talked about how young they are and how challenged they are, but right now, they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
And the payoff, the potential of a victory, is under 11 minutes away. Heartbreaking loss last week. Loeffler said felt like I lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's win or death. That's all it is in football.
Sure. McDonald, short, safe pass underneath coverage. As good as a run, good for 4. More importantly, clock keeps moving.
You're right. You called it. It is as good as a run. Very safe. And the crossing routes for that guy, 18, has been there all day. We watched him run across the field open with accurate passes.
Austin Osborne, again, he played at Mission Viejo, California in high school with Matt McDonald. Back to the run, that's a first down. That's a whole lot more for Embry. Check that Mosley, Nick Mosley, the ball carrier. And Mosley carries down at the 22.
Watch the hole. Watch it open up for him. Look at the trap block. Yeah, look at that. I mean, there it is. There's no defender. When you've got a 4-yard wide hole, anybody can run through it, maybe even you.
No.
No? I don't know.
I appreciate the love, though.
I like your honesty.
Yes. Going to be a timeout called right here by Bowling Green with 9:16 to go. Very much in command right now.
Timeout.
Just outside the red zone and up 10, trying to win for the first time in a couple of seasons.
Aflac policyholders have been paid $37 billion directly. That's a lot of money.
Did somebody say money?
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac is ready for prime time.
Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
With a Honda in your garage, every summer adventure leads to another. Get an incredible summer offer on a new Honda, only at the Honda Summer Sales Event.
Ready, set, go.
The deal. McDonald with a fake out of the backfield. Nice safe pass to who else? Austin Osborne.
Boy, he's been great. He's been great catching the football today, but the bootleg action has been a tremendous play because they have yet to solve that problem. They're faking the run, bring the bootleg, and a lot of times you bring a tight end out to catch that, but that's your receiver with speed, and he's got 6 catches for 52 yards. Not a lot of yards, but, man, very productive with the receptions.
Lots of good, safe calls here, and they're throwing on first down, running on second. Moving the chains again. It'll be 1st and goal, and a touchdown here is going to seal the deal.
We talked about football being a game of attrition. Number 28, Jason Patterson, is the 3rd string running back. I mean, that's at least 4 backs who've carried the ball. That wears on your defense. There's quality depth in that FBS roster, and it's rearing its head right now.
Doesn't feel like a 3rd string running back, does he? Or
No.
look like one?
And he's a true freshman. At 6 foot, 215 pounds. He's got a bright future himself. Look at that body. Hasn't even had an off-season workout under his belt, right? He's just going to get bigger, stronger, and faster. Look at the offensive line. That's a great job of coming off unblocked. The blitzer there off the edge, number 37, Lawan Powell. And so you're seeing now Murray State try to blitz to stop the run because their defensive line is getting handled up front.
Well, we thought if any O-line might make the difference in this game, it'd be Murray State,
Right.
not Bowling Green because of its youth.
Right.
Off the high snap, quarterback keep. Brings up a 3rd down. If they have to kick a field goal, it's not a killer. It would bump the lead to 2 touchdowns, but
Still
a
2
touchdown
possessions.
and an extra point,
Yeah.
and the Racers would have to score 3 times to have a chance.
And so we've seen Dylan Sanders, the defensive coordinator for the Murray State Racers, get aggressive in the red zone, and I like it because he knows how important it is to keep Bowling Green out of the end zone in this possession.
Another play fake here, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, whatever it's going to take to keep the ball in number 3's hands. I like getting him on the perimeter with a run-pass option, but it's no need to do anything spectacular. There it is on the edge.
Got a man wide open. That's a touchdown. Deron Keith has really entered in this game in the second half, and that should do it for Bowling Green.
We saw Keith now take the place of Osborne with the same bootleg action, and he's wide open. That's an equation that has yet to be solved by the Racer defense. There's the fake of the jet sweep, and look at number 19 leak out, and there's nobody there. I mean, that has been an issue all day. They have not been able to adjust to the bootleg, and it cost them a touchdown there, a very costly touchdown.
Do you feel that FBS and its strength in numbers is weighing down FCS here?
Sure, because of the depth, the quality depth. Listen, there are plenty of players on each side of this sideline, right? The question is, how quality is your depth in the 2nd and 3rd string? And FBS generally are going to have better quality depth as you get past the first line of starters.
Haven't seen a lot of handshakes and celebrations on this sideline in a couple of years, have we?
Right.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson. Now, buy the all-new 22 Tucson with 1.9% APR or get up to $500 cash back. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
Here's our game summary. Score by quarters. Bowling Green has put points on the board in each quarter. Murray State's scoring came all in the second. The defense of Eric Lewis and Bowling Green has really stymied Preston Rice today. Just 6 of 16 in the air, 64 yards and a pick. He has been held to nothing on the ground. And of course, Matt McDonald solid for a second week in a row. 22 of 28 for 221 and a touchdown. And that long losing streak is about to come to an end. For Dean Hood's team, unless something improbable happens, they'll regroup with a week off and get ready to go on the road in the OVC. Good open field tackle there before things got out of hand. As Ethan Thompson, number 18, returns. So now for Preston Rice, they got to put the ball in the air. That's a no-brainer, right?
I think they do. But you got to be careful, right? I mean, he's not, let's be honest, he's not Matt McDonald. I mean, he's not going to sit back in that pocket and throw you to a comeback. And look at his hit. Whew, boy, right on that knee. I'm glad he held on to that football. I've seen balls come out on lesser hits than that.
Every down seems like a passing down now for Murray State. Rice the throw on first down. Clock will continue to move as we dip under 7 remaining in this game.
Got to go tempo here. Be smart with the football. Plays coming in from the sidelines with signals. He's reading his armband, excuse me, but I'd like to see him hurry up a little bit quicker than this. This is no huddle, but I think they can speed it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's 2 minute conversion time, isn't it? 2 minute drill.
Yeah, because the clock is now an enemy. Rice missed that one. He had it, and he's upset with himself. I would like to see that route. I don't know if he drifted downfield in that route, cut it off, or didn't cut it off sharp enough, but that's a play you got to hit, especially when the team knows you're going to throw the football. You had a nice throwing lane and a nice chance to make that completion on the sideline.
Intended for number 2, Malik Honeycutt. Still have a couple of downs to pick up 4 yards. As every down now becomes pretty important. Rice faking, trying to find an open receiver, Honeycutt, and he caught it. Malik Honeycutt, flag on the play. It's likely going to be defensive pass interference. Nice catch by Malik, who had a drop earlier in the game.
It was a nice catch, and it was a really good job of improvising as well. We talked about Bowling Green with improvisation. Easy for you to say. Bowling Green with improvisation. But that was a nice job by Rice and Malik, because that was an out route, and when he saw his quarterback scramble, he turned it into an out and up, and that was a really nice ball getting it up.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 3. That 15-yard penalty is enforced from the end of the run, first down.
That's even better than pass interference, which I thought it was, because that's going to add 15 onto the catch and run.
That ball was thrown a little bit behind him, but great job of adjusting to the ball by Malik Honeycutt.
That was a face mask and take off the helmet at the same time play. Now the football into Bowling Green territory with 6:19 to go. Ball at the 44. Fresh set of downs for Rice. Flushed out of the pocket. Going to throw at the last minute. Ball is dropped. It was a tough catch, though, really, for Rodney Castile, because that was thrown low and at the last moment.
Yeah, but guess what? Tough is a part of the deal. This comeback you're trying is very tough.
So you're not buying what I'm saying?
No, I mean, come on, man. We're trying to get a win on the road against an FBS team, and that was still catchable. I was always told if both your hands hit it, you got to catch it.
All right, I'll defer to you there.
That might be the first time tonight.
Yes. Clock stopping with 6:08 to go. Second down for Rice, in a whole lot of trouble. Now flushed out, gonna fire down the field. Got a man, and it got picked off. Dabney came out of nowhere at the last moment. Pick it off for the Falcons. And that should, if it hasn't already, seal the game for Bowling Green.
Cy Dabney baited him into that throw. And this is, we talked to Murray State offensive coordinator Ben Hodges. You know, when Rice does get in trouble, what does he do? He says he tries to do too much. And I know he's trying to make a comeback here, but Cy Dabney's reading that all the way. And what I want from your wide receivers is come back to that ball. Don't stand there and wait for it. It's not high school. Come back and make a play on that ball. They're guys who have scholarships for intercepting the ball. And so you need to give your quarterback a chance by coming back and making a play on that. So, you know, I'll take a little bit off of Rice there. His wide receiver sort of left him out to dry.
Football back at the 12 now for the Falcons, and won't do anything special with the football now. Just run the ball and force the Racers to use a timeout or two, and now there's a penalty flag on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 45. That 15-yard penalty is enforced from the end of the run.
So from the 12 and a first down up close to the 30. And right now, Murray State will use a timeout.
Timeout, Murray State.
That's the first of three. The time is running out on the Racers.
How's Sanchez looking?
With your QB's increased spin rate, any pass with a launch angle of at least 43 degrees puts Sanchez in the end zone.
You a data analyst or something?
An investor in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like AI statistical analysis software.
How am I going to do?
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
The all-new Hyundai Tucson. Now, buy the all-new 22 Tucson with 1.9% APR or get up to $500 cash back. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
2 to go. Jim Barber and Tyoka Jackson. We're going to put him up to a teaching moment here in a moment to show the pickoff moments ago by Dabney. As the Falcons now will kill clock. And let's go back to the last play where you thought the wide receiver Honeycutt should have done a little more for Murray State.
Yeah, if you got some young wide receivers watching this. Okay, so right now the quarterback's scrambling, right? And Honeycutt sees it. He adjusts his route. Great. Turns the DB around. Now you've got room. Got your hand up. Now come finish the play. Come get the ball. Don't stop and wait because the defense isn't. That's a nice job by Cy Dabney. But your receiver has got to come back and fight for that ball. That's something that he's a fifth-year senior. Honeycutt should know better. But that's something when they show on the film tomorrow, the entire wide receiver room will learn from that.
And the defense with another pick for Bowling Green. Eric Lewis, their coordinator, up in the booth, has to be pleased. That's the special teams coach over there, by the way. And a longtime friend of yours.
Yeah. Coach Ligashevsky. Ligashevsky's been around. He's coached in the NFL and in college for a long, long time. Well, they are really lucky to have a coach with that much experience on this college sideline.
Mosley, who has become an effective ball carrier here in the second half, carries a first down, and the Falcons now, with the Racers with only one timeout remaining, are nailing the coffin.
Well, there's a lot of the play count is starting to mount up for the Racer defense. They're getting tired. Guys are bent over. And I tell you right, Bowling Green offensive line, this is what you love, right? Because everybody knows what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball. You're tired. We're not. It's always a lot tougher to play defense. Takes a lot more energy. And the guys in that burnt orange, they're just teeing off right now.
3-score lead in the game. And that payoff that head coach Scott Loeffler was hoping for is going to happen.
It's funny.
Namely a victory.
Yeah, it's funny when you win.
Third and final timeout, Murray State. 30 seconds.
The post-game meal tastes better. Your dog is a little more friendlier, right? Your waistline's a little better. You look a little better in your clothes when you win. Like everything gets a little better after you win the game. But this is what they needed. We talked about confirming the validity. Now their young players can now see a film where, okay, if I do it the way coach is asking, we can actually win the ball game. So now I'm confident. The key now for this young team is how do you come back and practice after a win, right? That's the next lesson. We talk about the process.
I would think a little hop in your step might.
You would think
be
that
appropriate.
You would think that, but I've been on teams with young players. sometimes in a situation like this, they come back and practice like they got it made. Oh, now we got it. We don't have to practice hard. We don't have to execute. We're good now, coach. No. It's going to be very important that Bowling Green come back and practice with the effort they talked about that went on this week, the intensity, the attention to detail, because that's what got you to win, right? And if you go back to the other habits of bad practicing, you'll follow this win with a loss. And so that's the next step in the maturation of this team. Can we come back and practice and execute all week like we did leading into this game to give ourselves the best chance to win on Saturday?
Well, I think all Loeffler and the coordinators have to do is show them the film of Minnesota, which went to Boulder today and shut out Colorado 30-0.
Yeah.
That's the next opponent, by the way, up in Minneapolis next Saturday.
Well, that might scare them.
Yeah. Don't see a whole lot of shutouts in college football. That was one right there.
Well, P.J. Fleck is certainly a terrific coach. Still relatively young. He's from the MAC.
Oh, yes, he is.
Right, and he was one of the hot young coaches.
Successful at Western.
That's no question about it. And he's building a culture there in Minnesota. And he's a really, really good recruiter. The talent level has gone up since he's been there. And so I think long-term, Minnesota's on the come.
Rewarded with an opening game with Ohio State, of all people, but played very competitive. Matt Naranjo, number 90, on to punt the ball away. And the bounce is a good one for Bowling Green. That is a punt of 49 yards and no return. There are some pretty good paydays coming up for both of these programs. And usually when you play an FBS team, there are 6 figures involved in that payday, maybe 7. Murray State will be in Lubbock against Texas Tech next year, then Louisville in 2023. Kentucky and Missouri, both from the SEC in 24, and then the Cats in 27 at Commonwealth Stadium.
As this team gets better, those some games that aren't necessarily against super powerhouse teams. I'm not saying they can win any of them, but certainly being competitive and trying to take the game into the fourth quarter would be a very good goal for all of those opponents.
And there are areas, minus Texas Tech, where you can probably get in the car and go watch some football if you're a fan of Murray State.
That's right. How about the Wadzala coming in and getting the sack and feeling good about it?
Good for him.
Right?
Huh?
I mean, this is when you get the backup players in who worked hard, worked their tail off, usually on the look squad, and then they get an opportunity to hit somebody on the other side, and that gets the entire sideline fired up.
Rice got 15 yards on that play. It'll be 3rd and 2. Bell with a catch. Could have been a factor today, but they shut him down. Out of the backfield. Safe pass, first down. Good hit there, too, by the Falcons at the 25, and the clock continues to move. Actually, it'll be restarted here in a moment as it stops with the first down. Rice with plenty of time's got a man. That's Honeycutt at the 50. Good throw, good catch.
Yeah, it's a deep dig route against what looks to be the backup secondary of Bowling Green, and nice throw, really good hands catch right there.
Good chance for Bowling Green to play a lot of people today. That's always important with youth. Now Rice flushed out. Going to throw at the last moment and has the first down. Pending spot at the 40.
Look, if you're Murray State, you just don't want to put any bad ball on film. If you're still out there, I need the effort high. We're trying to build something here. There's going to be better days ahead, because I guarantee you there aren't many opponents that are going to walk out with this sort of talent, FBS talent on the field. They'll be fine, trust me.
Going for 6 here is Rice against Honeycutt. Flag on the play. That'll be pass interference as Malik Honeycutt drew single coverage.
Unless I miss something, that might be offensive pass interference.
Okay. I may have misspoke here.
Well, no, it's going to be pass interference in my opinion.
Pass interference. Defense, number 13. That 15-yard penalty is enforced on the previous spot.
But you're not sure you're in agreement.
Well, and I know Coach Loeffler isn't. Look at him. I mean, he's beside himself. And from what I saw, he's got good reason. That's not a foul right there. That, to me, that right hand, okay, by the defender, that should not be called. That happens every single play. I think that is either a play on or offensive pass interference.
Now Rice to keep and wisely out of bounds to stop clock with 1:27 left.
It is so hard to play defense nowadays with all the rules set up for the offense. I know I sound like a defensive guy, right?
You're so biased, man.
I know it. Hey, listen, but it's true. I mean, you've heard Tom Brady talk about how hard it is to play defense with the current rules in the National Football League. It is tough, man. I mean, you can't touch the receiver. You can't hit the quarterback too hard. And I mean,
can't breathe on him, right?
It's really tough. I mean, it is set up for offensive play. And so you just got to figure out what they're going to call and adjust to it.
From the 21, Rice again flushing out and throwing. Is that a catch? No. Now, Rice has had some room to run the football as well. You wonder if he's going to tuck it and go on one of these plays.
It hasn't been his day. I mean, let's just be honest. He's a guy we featured early because he's a playmaker, and he still is. He'll be fine, and they'll be fine as a team. But this has not been their best day. The question is, when they watch the film, what can they learn from it, and how quickly can they move on? You cannot allow an opportunity like this that you missed linger in the next week, because then you'll be licking your wounds as well.
Held serve until the second half when Bowling Green took command. It is 3rd and 6, no timeouts left. Rice looking for the first down wisely, and it's going to be about a yard short, maybe 2. So now it is 4th down. Rice could call his own number on this play. Needs to pick up a yard. He's got a receiver, and the ball is dropped. He threw a laser to Honeycutt, and that's going to do it. With the Racers out of timeouts, the Falcons will now bleed out the clock and celebrate. You haven't seen this in a while, huh?
You haven't. And this play is emblematic of the type of day it's been for the Racers. Almost, not quite. Slant route, ball where it needs to be, and you just didn't execute it. I mean, that's a play that he makes in practice, I guarantee you, with his eyes closed. That sort of route, that basic route is what they do warming up, and he just couldn't make it happen when it counted.
Think about it, such a youthful offensive line. They probably had to teach them the victory formation, don't you think?
Right.
All right, guys, this is where we kneel down. And Scott Loeffler and the Bowling Green coaching staff, as he says, good job on the sidelines. We'll get to enjoy tonight. His 4th win since becoming a Bowling Green head coach. Time for one more snap. And Loeffler earlier in the week said, I want to hear that fight song from our guys. So let's get the voices going, guys.
Right. And the crowd's letting them hear it. Homecoming win. It's got to feel good right now for the guys in the dark jerseys.
ESPN's Lee Corso said you always got to win your homecoming game.
That's right.
Among other things.
That's exactly right.
Good effort, though, by Murray State. Just ran out of bodies down the stretch.
Well, and also they didn't do a great job of helping themselves when it mattered. This is going to be a teachable moment for learning how to win a road game against a quality opponent. You can't go on a road and beat yourself with mistakes, drop balls, penalties, unforced errors, and get a win. It just doesn't happen that way, and so they'll learn that. However, I will say, I expect this team to make a tremendous amount of hay, not only in the OVC, but in the FCS playoffs. This is going to be a very good football team come November. Trust and believe that.
10-game losing streak comes to an end for Bowling Green, dating back to November of 2019. They're going to enjoy this one tonight. Probably a homecoming party or two to attend, I would think.
You think? But again, the key for this now, for Bowling Green, enjoy it tonight. But after tonight, move on. Don't allow this sugar high to continue because there's work to be done going forward. You haven't even got the conference play yet. Learn how to win and learn how to practice and prepare after the win.
And a tough opponent in Minnesota awaits next week in Minneapolis. Congratulations to the Falcons for the win today. And in the meantime, Murray State regroups with a week off and prepares for Eastern Illinois in 2 weeks. We'll enjoy Kalamazoo and that hot Western Michigan team next week. Huh?
Yes, sir. Coming off that win against Pitt.
For Tyoka Jackson, I'm Jim Barber. We thank you for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. The final 27-10 Falcons over the Racers.